everything's fucking on record right now. So I try to, I don't know, it just feels weird to run it like a talk show. It just seems weird that I'm like, I'm going to pretend I haven't talked to you for the past 20 minutes here.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right, so Kyle Black, thanks for coming on my show.
No worries, man.
It's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too.
We've been chatting for a bit here. It's just anybody wants me to just walk in here. But I'm stoked when I put that post up. You're like, yeah, I want to come on. I think it's cool. We get to chat, and after talking to you for a bit here, it's been cool to learn a bit about you. So I want to chat some stuff we talked about here.
Definitely.
But Kyle's been in Whistler for a long time now. Just to give you a background, and I met you like 5 years ago, I guess.
So yeah, we were 5 years ago at Lululemon.
Yeah, and then you've been in town for
almost 10 years.
In Whistler, yeah, cool,
Yeah.
sick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're from, I don't want to say this wrong because when I say you're from Ontario and you're not, people get angry.
I am from Ontario.
Okay, cool, sweet. I thought you were for sure. Where from Ontario from?
Oakville.
Oh, right. I think I knew that. I do know that. So I'm from Barrie, so it's pretty close by.
Went to Georgian.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to Georgia too, hometown college. It's weird to me that I went to college in my hometown because I think I missed out on that whole going away to college and university, just like having the party and just not having your parents around.
For sure. Yeah. So like I got into like a good like what's it called, a good program at Sheridan College in Oakville, but like that's where my parents went, and that was like for my parents going like away from home to go to school, and I was like, I don't want to stay at home. And because like there's so many kids in my high school class that like did a victory lap, and my dad's like, you're not doing a victory lap, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to Georgian, right? And
right.
Yeah. The only reason I went there though is like because I got into a bunch of different colleges all over. I didn't get into any universities, but what stuck out to me was like they make you do a co-op.
Yeah.
Like the only college that makes you do a co-op with almost every single program, right? So I was like, cool. At least I'll get work experience. Right?
Yeah, that's cool about them for sure. I did a co-op with them. I took marketing there. I graduated in like 99. And I had to do a co-op, and I didn't do my co-op till the last minute. And I started a business with a buddy of mine. We started detailing cars by hand, and we sold it a couple years later. We didn't like it, but the co-op thing was cool because actually it was cool. I had a lot of friends who went into agencies and got a job with like BBDO in Toronto and stuff at ad agencies. But I was just like, college to me, I was like getting baked and just like forgetting about tests and stuff. And so I graduated pretty well, but yeah, Georgian was like, I went back there to Ontario. I drove back this summer. Georgian's massive now.
It's huge. Yeah. So when I was there, they were just building that new hospital.
Right. Okay.
And they were adding another extension on, which was like for their automotive program. So like,
which is huge.
Yeah. So I took tourism. So I had like half my classes in like the old buildings from like the 60s, 70s, 80s, and then half my classes in the new rooms where it's like, cool, this is your elective class where there's like 150 people. Then here's your class with the teacher that started the program 40 years ago.
10 people in the class.
Yeah. There's 10 of us, right? They still don't know your name, right? So
yeah, that's an interesting college. I remember I took this class called The Humor and the Power of Laughter. And I tell the story a bunch, but we had to do a project in class. Yeah. And they're like, so I was like, I was just like, I fucking hate school. I was like, I'm doing this because I thought marketing was cool. My parents wouldn't yell at me. And then so I did this project. I'm like, I'm just going to wait until I'm the last person to be picked. And then whoever's not picked, whoever doesn't have a group, we'll just all form a group. And I have a good idea. So I made a plasticine porno. And I had like you could see our hands in there and stuff. And we did little beds and stuff like that. And you could just see we had it was full on. It was called Getting Your Money's Worth. And my girlfriend at the time gave me her little camcorder to make it. So at the time we had to like dub together, you had to edit it on VHS tape. So you're like dubbing like with the knobs and dubbing together like this VHS stuff. Anyway, we crushed it. Like it was you could see like the wiener fall off while he's doing stuff. Like it was just like bullshit. But I think what was funny was that if I was in university, I think I would have been too serious. Tried to do something a lot more like polished and different. Mm-hmm. But our teacher is big, kind of giant guy. I think he's gonna have a heart attack. He was laughing so hard. And then they sent the video around to the faculty. Yeah, the video's gone. I don't know where the tape ended up. But,
oh man.
So, but you went there. You went there for tourism.
Yeah, right? I did the 3-year course. So, okay. Yeah, I didn't get my co-op the one summer because I just I didn't have any interview experience. I didn't have work experience. And then, I just. Yeah, and then the next summer I got a job in Canmore at Silvertip Golf Course.
Oh, sick! Right,
yeah, and then came back and then did my final co-op the extra summer at Zip Trek, and I was like, I'm gonna go home just after Christmas, and I never went home.
Yeah, now you're sitting here.
Yeah, exactly, right.
That's the co-op thing. So you got it, so you went from college, came out to Canmore.
Yeah, and then had to go back for the winter.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, is that a 3-year course, eh?
Yeah. So like three winter, fall, and spring semesters. And then you're supposed to do like 2 work terms. So I just missed my first work term and then just did my second work term as Zip Trek and then filled out my stuff. And I was like, I'm not going back. And
It's funny how lax that shit is. Like, yeah, you got to do a co-op. Cool. Where? I don't know. Somewhere. Cool. And you just send it back. Like, yeah, that sounds good enough to us.
yeah.
Like, but what made you take the tourism course? Because did you want, like...
Yeah, like I didn't know what I wanted to take. I got into like Conestoga College for like a business admin course, and then the Sheridan course was like another business marketing course, and like I just was like I want to do something I'm interested in, and like I never traveled before, and I've always had this like fathom of going to like it's funny because like my partner Vanessa's from New Zealand, but I was like always wanted to go to New Zealand, right? And like it sounds super dorky, but when I saw Lord of the Rings years ago, I found it was like filmed in New Zealand. It's like, I want to go there.
That's super rad, dude. That's not dorky at all.
Yeah. And then like the first time I actually went to New Zealand, like Vanessa took me to Hobbiton.
No shit, eh?
Stoked.
Damn,
yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. It's like, but no, like that's kind of when I took it. I was like, I don't want to be a travel agent. I just want experience to like learn and go travel and go see stuff I've never seen before. Right. And that was kind of like the plan. And like, I was like, I don't know, I'll do what my little sister's doing and take another course after I'm done college. And didn't need to. Right. And yeah.
It's fucking cool. And so when I was in Ontario, you had to take, the reason I went to college is because I didn't want to do OACs. There's like Ontario academic credits.
It's like grade 13 or something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. They canceled it. So I'm questioning it. So I also dropped on the general math because I didn't like going to school. I was getting paid all the time. Didn't hate it. So, but as soon as you dropped to general class, you couldn't get into college. Or university, sorry. Mm-hmm. But I just felt like university was just like, my brother went. It just seemed like a thing I wouldn't even be able to manage.
Yeah.
Like it was way too much going on.
I had that same mentality, but like the thing that really bothered me about going to college, it was like I had a pretty big high school class and I was the outcast because I wasn't going to university.
Yeah, me too.
And like it was so much pressure and like it made me feel like shit not going to university.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, fuck. And then my older sister's so smart. Yeah. Right? She had good grades. She got an awesome university. Right? And then like, yeah, I'm taking the fucking tourism course at Georgian, right? And I'm like, all right, like, and I actually had a lot of fun, but now seeing the amount of my friends, the amount of people I know back from high school, they're now taking a class at Sheridan or a class at Georgian. I'm like, that's what I did. And I didn't blow my money and blow my brains at university. And I had a blast, right?
Yeah.
So
I met some super rad people at college. People I live out here now, some pro snowboard stuff like that, like Gerald Trinidad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to college with me myself. And then the people I know, and it just was like, I have friends, well, not friends, but people I went to college with who got co-ops in like agencies in Toronto. I'm like, man, did I miss out? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know what they're doing now. I mean, I don't reach out, but I'm like, I can't imagine it's a fun. Like, I mean, they're all in Toronto, probably just like locked into like 500 square foot apartments right now.
Yeah.
And so
I found a ton of my classes in Vancouver. It's like I didn't know. Like I'm helping like do lift lines with the mountain and just like lift line. I'm like, oh, like Jess, it's me, right?
Yeah.
Like
it's like, pretty crazy, dude. Like, I mean, we're talking about college here, which Georgian College had a good reputation for most of their classes.
Yeah.
Tourism one, their nursing one, their marketing one, and their automotive classes were killer. So if you kind of went there at the time, because nursing was huge back then for me, it was like if you could pretty much be guaranteed a job.
That's what it was when I was there because they were building that new hospital. So they were actually placing them in the hospital to do work terms instead of even in the college because it was right behind the new residence.
Pretty cool. Because wait a minute. Because you're a lot younger than I am, I guess. Are you 30 right now?
I'm 30, yeah. Just turned 30 in October.
So you would have graduated like in like 2009 or?
No. So like technically like 2011 when I moved here, I graduated.
Okay. Oh, right.
So,
okay, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was in 99. And like, I remember like, dude, I don't know whatever you experienced at Georgian College is probably a lot more than what I experienced because it was pretty like, we showed like the zip disks drives and like Mac computers were still massive. And like, we were doing graphic design courses on like, it was like full on manual stuff, like layered drawings and stuff like that. It's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine now, but I drove back to Ontario in the fall, and college was bumping. It's huge.
Do you go back home that often, or?
My mom lives in Barrie still, so I try to go back a lot. For a long time I worked at Whistler Blackcomb. It was always like holidays, you're working full time. Yeah. Even in the PR department there, when I worked there for athlete team, it was like you got to be full hands on deck.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I didn't do that, but I try to go back. And the last pot job, I worked for a cannabis company for 2 years, and they were in Toronto. Mm-hmm. Well, I flew back. I think before they laid a bunch of us off, I was in Toronto like 4 times in 6 weeks.
Yeah,
back and forth. I'm losing my mind. So I'm way happier now for sure. But I went back there a lot then. But I think as I'm getting older, as my mom getting older, stuff like I want to go back more, just because
Yeah.
like life's dragging on.
For sure. I'm in the same boat. I'm terrible. Like I've only been back home like 3 times in 10 years.
That's not.
right?
That's probably not that. It's probably not
Yeah.
that. It's probably pretty normal. For
Yeah,
most
it's
people,
like
I'd say.
my folks come here all the time,
Yeah.
and yeah, because they just retired last year. They bought this like massive fifth wheel trailer, this
Sick.
awesome GMC truck, like
Yeah.
to tow it out here. So they drove out for the first time,
Yeah.
and they stayed here for like 3 weeks up
That's
at
cool.
just Riverside, and it was like this was the first time I've ever been able to just chill with them, not have like an agenda, and like
Yeah.
and it was just like me, my mom, and dad, and Vanessa, and like the dog.
Yeah.
right?
It's cool. There's a lot of times you can take a day and not hang out with them. Like
Yeah.
if you go there if I go home for 7 days, I feel like I got to be there all 7 days. It's like
Yeah.
dragging. There for 3 weeks, you can take a day. They can do their own thing and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. So like I took a lot of time off of work, and
Yeah.
my dad came out because it was my bachelor party as well. And
Right. Oh, yeah,
like
right.
my dad had never been to like the island, so like my bachelor party was in Yuki at this massive house, and we just went surfing, golfing,
Yeah.
just like kind of had like a regular guys weekend because I can't
Yeah.
really like get blackout drunk anymore. But
Yeah, for sure.
a lot of people did. But yeah,
Yeah,
like
right.
it was so nice to have them out though. That was like it's always hard to think about your parents when they leave, right? But like that
Mm-hmm.
was so tough.
Because you've seen them they're in front of you for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then like you're like, oh man, like you still got another week left, and then it's like, oh shit, they're gone tomorrow, right? And it's like,
Yeah, especially when they're driving too. Like when I was home, my mom's like, "Are you leaving tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to get back before November hits or before October hits in case we get a snowstorm somewhere or whatever
Yeah.
else." And she's like, "Oh, you can stay." I'm like, "Yeah." And my friends I hadn't seen, I was like, "I kind of if I just keep saying I'll stay, I could. I mean, I do have to get back. I mean, I wasn't working. I had nowhere to go, but like, yeah, it just was like that driving thing changed everything. He's like, "Oh, what's your agenda?" Well, I didn't have one,
Yeah.
but I needed to get back and. I love the drive, man. Have you done it? You've done it, right?
I haven't
Did you
done
fly?
it.
Yeah.
No, I've only flown, but like I haven't even honestly. I've been terrible. Like I've only ever like driven to Red Mountain and like Revelstoke. Those are like the only 2 places.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah, like I've had like I want to. Our plan was to go to Banff this winter, but now we're like really trying to, follow
Yeah,
the rules. But like
sure.
that's something that we're gonna do, and yeah, but like I do want to drive across the country though, and
it's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fun drive. Like I did a solo. I think I was like kind of fear and loathing in Canada, kind of, but like, it's awesome. I mean, it's long, and on my own, I was going nuts.
I was
dude.
following your
Yeah, yeah, oh,
Instagram
yeah.
stories. Yeah,
So I did like all this like
They're
videos.
awesome.
It kept me sane, dude, because I was like, I'm doing nothing, and like, I was saying this to Tyler, my friend, the other day, and I was like, there's a part in like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, where the roads are fucked, right? And it's like I guess because the thaw and freeze, they have like gaps in the road every like 10 meters, so it's like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
for like a day. Yeah, boom, 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 all, and I'm like, it's crazy, dude. But yeah, the drive's pretty fun. I mean, people will say it sucks, but I love driving.
Oh, I love driving too. Man.
Yeah,
It's
and
so
then-
much fun.
The only thing that sucks is when you get to Ontario, and if you're where I was, so you don't have to go all the way across it, but that's like a 2-day drive, Ontario.
Yeah, my parents took their sweet time, and like they took over a week to get out.
Yeah,
and so
sure.
They did the same thing, and like because they had the big trailer, so they were like, "We'll just stop." They think they just did like max 5-6 hours a day. And,
Yeah.
and that was it.
That's cool,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, my mom and her husband, this guy, her husband Doug, they have a big motorhome and they drive it all over the place.
Yeah.
But,
This thing is so pimped that my parents have. It's got like 2 recliners in it.
Does
They,
it
like
does the side bump out on the one
yeah,
side?
yeah, it pops
Those are
out. So like,
fucking dope.
they got like a little island in the kitchen, like
Yeah.
full bathroom, master bedroom.
Really, eh?
But like the chairs, like they have like lights and stuff, and then they have like heater and a vibrator, and they recline.
Sick, dude.
And like my dad's like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm like, "I'm gonna go over and sit in your chair, play some
Can
cards."
I have
yeah.
this? Yeah, like just bring it out here. I'll live in it. Like people think of trailers are like shit, but the trailers now, like,
They're so pimp.
dude, yeah, that's rad.
Yeah.
My mom's boyfriend, my mom's husband's motorhome's a little bit older,
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of like, I mean, it's probably like early 2000s.
Yeah.
But they didn't change the style until just recently. Where it was always the brown cabinets and the stupid carpet and stuff. You're like, but all of a sudden now the new ones are like, they look pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's got like a super nice like hardwood style floor and
Yeah, right.
yeah, like so when we were kids, like my parents almost pulled the trigger on this cottage and like they
Yeah.
just decided not to like last minute, and then they bought a trailer instead, and like the trailer was so pimp. It was right on the lake. We went to like
Yeah.
Lake Bernard, like up on Sunridge or whatever, and
I don't know where that is. What do you
yeah,
mean?
so not too far.
Okay, right.
And it was so sick, like because the trailer had like all these different like rooms and fridges, and like then we had the campground, and it was like
Yeah.
it was like this is the same thing, right?
so
Except
sick.
we have heating.
Yeah.
right. So
My bro's got this adventurer camper where he puts in the back of his truck, like the truck camper. It's got like a heated shower, like heated, like a propane heated water for like a shower on the outside. It's got a big king bed. He's got like an F-350 truck, so it's pretty big. But Man, camping is lame compared to that for sure. I mean, camping is fun, but like if you're going car camping and then somebody pulls up beside you in a camper, you're like, oh man, I wish I was doing that.
Yeah.
Right, especially if you go surfing in the island, for example. It's just always
I
cold.
was so jealous of that. We went to that new campground in Tofino, like Surf Grove.
Okay.
That place was so pimp. Had the nicest facilities because I was saying when we went to like that old school one, like Bella Pacifica or whatever it's called, where it's like the showers are always cold.
Yeah, dude.
And we got to this place and we're like, this is so nice. But then like we're taking off our wetsuits, rinsing them out, and we're just have them strung on like all my extra rope. And then I'm just like seeing these beautiful campers. I'm like, oh my God, I kill to be warm right now.
Man, it's like my brothers. Sorry, I don't keep bringing him up, but like they're not cheap. Those campers.
No, they're not.
You can buy a cheap one. But my experience is the cheap ones are garbage, and there's no middle road.
No.
But yeah, dude, it's way better. I'm sure it's sick.
Yeah, I definitely want one of those. So,
talking about camping trailers. Yeah. So when I was driving back, I just slept in my car. Like I got a hotel in Regina, I think, and then I slept in my car the rest of the way, like in Walmart parking lot stuff, and then. I have a little SUV, but I had it set up. You can sleep in the back. It's actually sick. Like it was so much easier than setting up a tent. I had it all, but I was like, I'll pay for a campsite just so I can like set up my kitchen and like, make stuff and everything else. But yeah, I saw some of the craziest things driving across country. You'd see like those super sick motorhomes, right? Like they're like buses. They're like $700,000, and they have like a brand new Jeep towing behind it.
Yeah, I don't get that. It's like
It's always a Jeep, dude. It's always a Jeep. I mean, maybe not always, but 8 out of 10 times it's a Jeep for some reason. I don't know what the deal is. But I've seen like, full-size vehicles pulled behind it. I saw one time in Alberta, a truck towing a trailer towing a boat. And I'm pretty sure that's legal in Alberta. You can have over as long as it's a certain distance, like it's a length thing.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I could be way wrong, but this person either flouting the laws big time or right within their rights. But yeah.
Oh, man. It's like, why don't you just buy a place then if you're going to be towing a boat and a car around, right?
Yeah. But you flew out here, I guess. And when you flew out here, when you moved here, you weren't planning on staying and you stayed, right?
Yeah.
So is it typical like parents ship all your stuff out here for you?
No, like I have like this Molson Canadian hockey bag, right? That like my dad probably got in a beer case, but it doesn't weigh a thing, and I can chuck all my shit in it. Yeah. And just like cool, packed all my clothes, and then was like, all right, on my way. And that's all I brought out here, and like my laptop, obviously, and shit like that. Yeah. But yeah, and then like a month and a half, 2 months in, like I got my hockey equipment mailed out, right? And then I only like just got my golf club shipped out not too long ago, but then just randomly started getting in golf this summer. And, but like they mail me random stuff, but like I've never really had that much stuff at home. I don't think, because my parents always complain my sister has a ton of shit at home, so but never me. But like I just all my stuff's like here. Right? Yeah, everything I own is here, right? So
like I think. Like I had stuff mailed out here and stuff, and they just kind of have the typical like you don't think you're staying, so you don't bring it all. Yeah. And then my mom's like, "Can you get rid of this?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not here. I'm not there." She's like, "Take this." So I get like stuff mailed to me, or she'd come and visit and bring like all this shit. I'm like, "Mom, you don't have to lug it out there." I'm like, "Sure, it's not staying in my basement, so you gotta come." When I was home last time, I went to the basement. I was like, "None of my stuff's here." I'm like, "Where is it?" I'm like, "I don't even know where." It's not with me. Like some of the stuff, I'm just like, this has disappeared. And I'm like, fair enough. It's fair game. I've been gone for like almost 20 years. Yeah. You can chuck my shit in the garbage if you need to, for sure. But yeah, man, I think that migration west is pretty. It changes people for sure. Yeah, because you grew up snowboarding, obviously, or skiing, I guess.
I grew up like skateboarding and playing hockey, so I only snowboarded like a handful of times before I moved out here. But I was all about it, right? Yeah. And I was like, fuck, I'm here. I got to go snowboarding. Yeah, right. Sure. And that's when like I got a job with the mountain working the Solomon store and got my pass, and I just worked evenings every night. So I just rode every day, and that was an awesome season, right? And
so hold on a second. Then what when you got so I guess that job when you got in, would you say in Jasper?
In Canmore?
Did that get you into the mountains? Was that like you like?
No, that was a summer job. That was me working at golf course. I just was.
So what made you come to Whistler then?
I had friends that worked at Zip Track, and they were like, "You'll have the summer of your life," right? Yeah, and like I did. Like I still look back, and that was like the most fun I've had in a summer. Like I didn't care about like getting a girlfriend. I didn't care about like anything. I was like, I'm here to fucking have a blast, and like I was crushing it. I at least I think I was.
Yeah,
At my
well,
job.
we all
like,
think we are, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like because I was getting tipped all the time, and like I was saving money,
Yeah.
and like
Nobody. That's an anomaly.
Yeah.
Save money for sure.
yeah, and I was just having such a good time, and then like I was like I have to check out winter. All I hear is how good winter is, and then like I love snowboarding, and like I was very fortunate to meet some really cool people in the summertime who like.
Yeah.
So when I got to learn snowboarding, I went from being shit to becoming real good
Right
like,
away.
quickly, and
Yeah.
like I'm not real good, but
But
like
skateboarding, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not a skateboarder. I have skateboarded, but I'm not
Yeah.
a skateboarder. But I mean, if you're somewhat skilled at it, I'm sure it helps snowboarding.
yeah, it
It's
definitely does, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
it just, but like the big thing I just noticed was that like you know, I met these people that showed me the mountain, and then I just learned the mountain right away compared to like some other my friends where they weren't that good. They didn't get to know the mountain, and then like they've gone home and like they didn't get that experience that I had, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel really bad for some people sometimes, but like,
It's not everybody gets it. Like there's a natural way that people's lives go where like sometimes someone gets a connection. Like you could come up with 3 friends. You're all you feel the same from Ontario. You just have a connection with some locals. You get shredding, and then it's like
Totally.
like I'm not into it or something to go. Yeah, I mean it does help for sure to get that like the learning curve is pretty steep.
yeah,
And
like
then you
I was
just like fucking enjoy it. You're stoked, right?
I was like, I'm a good snowboarder. My first lap, I was like, the guy I'm with fucking hating me right now. I'm so bad.
I was a tool when I
So-
first got here skiing. Like I remember my buddy Brad lives here still, and he's a part-time patroller. And I remember on Christmas Day, one of the first years I got here, we went skiing, and I lost my ski right out of the gate. Like I had I thought these skis were cool. I had them from Ontario. I was under the Glacier Express. I hit a cliff. I don't know what I was doing. I actually fell off a cliff. I didn't really hit it. And then I just lost the ski like 4 hours. And he was like, dude, it was dumping. It was like, he's been here for, anyway. Yeah, I think it's like, you come here and there's like, I have friends who live here that don't do anything. They just love living in the mountains.
Yeah, same.
And then,
Yeah.
you know, you just have that, like I've been up skiing as much as I can. And this was the year where I'm like, okay, well, if I'm not working a ton, I'm going to just see how much I really want to ski every day.
Yeah.
If Whistler's still a thing for me. And it's been awesome.
Yeah. So like 5 years ago when my first winter working for like Showcase, it was like, I've always wanted to work for a snowboard surf skate store. And like, that was my opportunity. I was working there, and that was the most like I've rode since my first season. I was coming off a season where like I had my hernia appendix sort of thing. And, and then, yeah, like I met these awesome people at Showcase, and like I met guys that just like ride every day, and
Yeah.
I got that stoke back and like got that fire
Did you meet
back.
Graham Turner?
No, I didn't meet him.
yeah,
I
that
know,
guy.
I've met him a few times, but like
that guy's he's
Yeah.
OG for
yeah,
sure.
he is.
Yeah.
And
for
then
sure.
I so like last year I was like managing a couple ski stores, but like I knew it was a good move for me. So this year back at Showcase, I'm like, okay, like I want to snowboard. Last time I worked at this store, I had like an awesome winter,
Right.
Because like you're surrounded by snowboarding, it makes you want to snowboard.
And you're
like,
and you're the manager, so you can make your own schedule.
yeah, for the most part, yeah.
I mean, you can't always give the shit shifts away, but you can.
No,
Yeah.
So like this year, like because like last year, like my shop was only open to like 5 or 6, and
Right.
like, you can't ride during the day, right? And
Yeah.
so now it's like cool. Now our shifts are like 1 or 2 o'clock starts, and it's like cool. I can ride all day. I live in the village. I can just bomb home.
You have a
come
sick
right
spot in the village. Sound, yeah.
yeah,
too, yeah.
Super lucky. Like I remember I lived in Bay Shores. I used to like refuse to bring my stuff into work. I'm like, no.
Even that's fucking close, dude. Bay Shores
Yeah.
is like, if anybody's
It's
know
like-
Whistler, like people watch it. People watch other places, but this place called Bay Shores is like super fucking close. He lives maybe like 10% closer now, but it's super close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm a snob too. I'm like, no, like even though I lived in Bay Shores, I would still go to like Wizard Chair. I would refuse to go up Creekside.
Dude, I live south of Whistler. I will go to Blackcomb every day. I'll go park in Lot 8. It's as far as you can get away from my house to park. And I can't. I got some good friends, and they're great friends of mine. They go up Whistler all the time, and I've had great times with them on Whistler.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I just can't manage Creekside.
Same. I'm the same. Yeah.
And even though it's just as busy and maybe sometimes more fucked up other places, for some reason, just Creekside, I just can't.
stresses me out too.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, living super close is good. That's good. So when you worked at Showcase now, but when you and I met, I just got the job at Lulu. I don't know how long before I got the job that you started working. Not long, I think maybe 3 months.
So I was still at Showcase that winter.
Yeah.
And then
Something happened. Like what was the hours were getting cut, or you were just like,
no, like I just like, so Vanessa, my partner, she went home for like 5 weeks.
Right.
And I was like, I'm doing really good with money. Like I want to try and pay off a little bit less of my credit card debt. And
you got second job at Lulu was your second job.
Yeah,
Right,
so
okay.
like I had met Frankie in the summertime,
Yeah.
and like she was hosting all those parties at like For Lease, and like that's how I started to meet her, and then I met Wong, and then like
Yeah.
I was like started to become friends with those guys, and then they were like, "Yo, like apply for a job," because we would come into For Lease after we go.
They wanted
riding,
dudes
right?
all the time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And we come in after we go riding, and like and they'd be like, "Oh, yo, have a beer," right? And it was so sick. And then like, and then Rowan, who worked at Lulu as well, like
he's a good
I have a
dude.
lot of respect for that guy. He's
rad.
really high up in that company, and I think the way he perceives business, I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, he's a good dude for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and like we still chat now and stuff
cool.
like that.
Sweet.
And yeah, like
nice.
we have a cool, tight mutual friends group, and
Great.
yeah, I think we bug the shit out of him on our group chat, but
Yeah. That's
no,
cool.
yeah. So then and then I got the job there, and then it was like really good. Like I've never been in a workplace where like people like are just stoked to see you right away, but like it's like everyone supports you no matter what there, and yeah, like I really kind of took it for granted when I was there, and like I really appreciated to have someone like Kate around, and,
dude. Yeah.
And like I don't know, like I felt a lot. Now when I look back, there was a lot more respect than disrespect, and like, but when I was there, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like super hot headed. I was like, feel a lot of disrespect, and like
I was
like, I just was like, man, like no one thinks I can do my job, and I'm like, and like sometimes I'd be put in like women's pants, right? And like I'd be fucking crushing it. Potter comes in, Kyle, like, what are you doing? Like, we are crushing the pants. What are you doing today? It's different. I'm like, I'm just doing my thing.
Talking to ladies.
Yeah, doing my thing, right?
Right.
And then like, then someone would tell me, no, you're doing this wrong. Like, you need to put it this way. It's like, well, she just told me I'm doing my job right. And I don't know, it's just stuff like that. And like, I didn't take seriously enough when we had to do like our visions and goals. And like, I look back on that, I'm like, fuck, like I should have taken more time and done more stuff like that. Like, because I make myself do that now in my current position. Like, me and Vanessa set stuff for ourselves, right? And like I write in like in my notes, I have it in my phone, like have it as reminders to like, okay, how's your progress for saving up for this? How's your progress for like doing your NZ residency? How is this working? And it's like, I wish I had taken more into that, and because like that has led me to where I'm in today. That's helped me make smarter decisions for my future, which is like I'm super grateful that I worked there, but like I'm a firm believer in that, like everything happens for a reason, right? So,
yeah, it's hard to see that stuff when it's happening. Like you're in like that stupid forest for the trees kind of thing. Like when you're in the mix, hard to see around you.
Yeah,
that's the same way. Yeah, I mean, when I got hired there. I just came from Arc'teryx. I just left. I was kind of like leaving there anyway, and then they just were like. I met Ellen at Brandy's one night.
She was the old store manager, right?
Yeah. Not old, just the
previous store manager.
Ellen's rad. But then, so I didn't, Brandy's not, the Brandy's in Whistler, not the Brandy's in Vancouver. The Brandy's like, now it's the keg. And we were partying and whatever else. And then my friend Lauren's like, hey, this is my friend Ellen. I was like, oh, I've heard about you, Ryan, but I'm like, oh, I left Arc'teryx. And because I'd been there doing like digital community management, like working online, writing campaign stuff, like just full on like national campaign stuff. And then I also helped like with our retail programs there. But I think what got me into Lulu was my previous time with Whistler Blackcomb, like athlete manager and stuff. But yeah, so then I did that, and I at first I was like pumped on it, and then I kind of dipped a bit, and then I got pumped on it again, and I dipped a bit, and I think I have an ego, and I just wasn't allowed to put like I was being taught more than I thought I was being taught, like you said, like I was learning more than I thought I was. So I kind of got my back up, but then I was also like, well, I'm here for a reason. And I want to do certain things, and I wouldn't let go of what I thought I was there for, which is fair.
The same. Yeah, I was the exact same.
And I shouldn't have. Like I'm glad I didn't, because there was reasons why I was there and reasons why I stayed. But no, I think like for at least to me was a break in a cycle I was stuck in, and that really helped me. But I look back on it, and I'm like. Actually, Frankie mentioned trying my podcast last week, but we just got tied up. She got busy in New Zealand, so we're going to do a Skype hopefully this week or the week after.
Yeah.
But the vision and goals things, if I look back now, I'm actually like, I haven't looked at them in years, since it's been like 5 years, but I actually think I've accomplished them.
So like
without even looking at it, I don't even know where they are. I think my computer got erased, but it's there, and I'm like, oh, I think I had these, not all of them, but it's one that said, I'm like, yeah, I'm there. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm not saying that that's because of that, and maybe I would have got there anyway, but I look back and go, well, I did do that stuff I said I was going to do.
Yeah. Like Vanessa kept mine when I kind of left Lulu, and it was like she kept it and checked it all off, and the stuff that like we went over, she's like, hey, like you've done everything, right? And we're like on the certain amount of years, right? And she's like, we're going to do stuff in the next few years that's going to complete your like thing, right? And
it's super weird.
Yeah, and it's like fuck, hey, I gotta put more effort into this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely think like it was a good thing, but it's one of those things where you wish you kind of appreciated it when you were there, right? So
yeah, I mean, I look back now, I'm like, man, I learned a lot of stuff from there. The people I met, like yourself, and like I had some attitudes there, but I met some but people I'm not into, but most,
Yeah.
only maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But like anybody who's still managing there, works there now, I still think they're rad.
Same. Yeah.
The head office, I learned a lot. Those guys are cool. I think it taught me more than I thought it would for sure. I think you're right on that. Like I look back and go, yeah, you know what? I probably should have been less like that way. Sometimes I got furious. I was like, I will always stand behind those times.
Yeah.
But I think I learned more than I probably thought I did at the time.
Yeah.
For sure.
And like one thing that kind of like threw me like at the end when like I was like, hey, I gotta go back to Showcase, and like I was like, hey, I want to interview for I guess Frankie's replacement. I'm like, hey, I need to look out for myself in the winter. I'm getting a job with Showcase again just to secure like my pass, but I'd still like to apply. And like my interview got cut, and I was so sour. I was like, whatever. And then and Kate's just like, you need to tell someone. If you don't tell someone, you tell the staff you're pissed off. How do you think it looks, right? I'm like, no one's called me out of my shit all summer,
Yeah,
right? I'm
dude.
like, I need this. And there was like a wake up call, and I was like so appreciative. I'm like, thank you so much for like switching me on. And it's like, okay, like I don't want that job. I need to be in the snowboard world.
Yeah.
That's where I need to be.
It was,
right?
you know what? You said earlier things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was on camera or on air or not, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they do. And you're happier now, and that little step helped you get to certain points. And that step helped you get to realizing what those goals you made and stuff.
Yeah.
And like the way I try to appreciate things now, I'm like, okay, Proctor, just take a second to think about this before you just react.
Yeah.
And because like there's times I react and I'm like, sorry, I didn't mean to react that way.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's like there's great like all those people that still work there are great, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I think when I got there, some things changed within a couple of months. New management changed and stuff, and so. But I think we threw some good parties there.
Yeah, man.
I mean, for Elise anyway, for sure. I don't know if I was really effective with the Lululemon brand, but for Elise was cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I had, yeah.
I remember. I mean, there's lots of stories that I won't talk about because whatever. But we just tried to always do good things. It wasn't about like. The idea was like if we can try to help somebody or just give someone 10 minutes or just like something that's like just give them a smile, something to do. It was just an interesting spot for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really cool about the way it was just run. Not near the end, but yeah, I think we all have these jobs where like, I've worked in a kitchen or a restaurant before, and there's moments where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that one day that guy did this. I'm like, that set me on a path too, right? I think every job, because what did you do in Ontario before you came out here?
I worked like for Daniels Corp, like
what's that?
It's like a condominium company.
Okay.
And like my neighbor across the street, like the reason I got the job is because my whole neighborhood back home, everyone is super tight, right?
Yeah, right.
So like,
Yeah.
it was just, I would drive around and just like kind of clean up after landscapers, deliver notices. And
Sure.
it was a summer job. And so and when I was like 14, 15, 16, like I worked at the grocery store.
Right.
That was my work experience before I went to Canmore in Alberta, right? And then here I've had a plethora of jobs, right? Like Zip Trek, and I was like a manager there too. And then I worked for Bungie for a summer, and then worked a lot of retail with Solomon Store and Lulu, and then Showcase. And then I worked, and like the next summer after I met you, I actually worked at for Resort Quest, like the hotel chain company.
Cool. Yeah, sweet.
For like 3 months. I got a job, like I thought I got a job as a sales manager because that's what I applied for. Right. And then they put me on the front desk for a bit.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I fucking hate this job so much. And I was like, I have a tourism degree. And like, I talked to this one guy, I had one. He's like, you need to work in hotels. And I'm like, yeah, the money was great. But I will never do that again. People are so shitty.
People are rough,
right?
man.
It's like, this is when I booked on the picture online. It's like, no, and it says it's not that either. Right. So
it's weird, the whole hotel thing. I worked at the Fairmont for a while, and I didn't know how much money I made before I quit. I quit before I got my first paycheck, and I got tons of money. I'm like, wow, I should have quit. But the tourism industry is weird because it's like it's just like there's so many job opportunities in tourism, but it's like food and beverage, retail, customer service, and then you have to kind of sneak your way in to get like the management kind of stuff or whatever else.
Yeah.
But like, you said, we were talking about jobs earlier, and I was going to tell you about a job I had at retail, but you didn't have any retail experience before you came out here.
No. So like, you remember Tim Harris or whatever? He used to live in this building or live around the corner.
I don't know, maybe.
Oh, because I remember when you interviewed me for like Lululemon, you said like you knew him, and anyways.
Oh, I probably did. Oh,
So Tim hired me.
mashed my head.
Tim hired me at the Solomon Store.
Oh yeah. Okay, great. Sorry, I know. Yes, yeah.
He hired me at the Solomon Store, and like, and
it takes me a while.
And he's now like the head honcho at like Vail. He's like in charge of all retail rental, I think, for like everyone.
Yeah,
But
because
he's
the Todd Friesen and those guys all left. They went places and stuff.
they all left, and but yeah, Tim's like in the States now, but he's technically in charge. But like, I was so glad he put me in retail. I was like, so at the time I was like, he's like, do you want to be retail or rental? I was like, I'll do whatever you want. I was like, I don't care. I just want my hours and I want to snowboard. That's what I want to do. Right.
But rental's like first thing in the morning. It sucks. I bet.
Yeah, and oh man, I loved it being retail. I come in hungover and I'd be like. Drinking my like tea and be like, oh, you guys are slammed, and I am just cruising right now.
Yeah,
right.
You got stinky ski boots and shitty skis. You're like, yeah, and the people are fighting because the rentals are wrong and stuff.
Yeah.
So I had a retail. I can tell you the story. So I had a retail job. So when I was in high school, I didn't like school, and I had to do a co-op in high school. It's just you had to do a co-op.
Yep.
In high school, just no matter what it was, I had to do something.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I thought. I've still had this idea of marketing for some reason in my head. I'm like, well, I just got a job at a retail shop. It's called National Sports Center. You know National Sports Center is?
Yeah,
like,
we have in Oakville, yeah.
Got like full on hockey set up.
Yeah.
It's all like just like discount shit. So the boss there, this guy's name was Josh. He was super rad. He kind of looks like Nick Nolte and the Big Lebowski dude, like kind of mixed. I think it's the same dude, but kind of like mixed, a bit like, but like kind of like too much of a tan.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Anyway, it was placed in this mall in Barrie called the Kozloff Mall. It's fucking shit. And I had to stand up front and like security guard the discount racks, like the discount. It was like
because they put them out front.
Like
so,
basketballs here, a bunch of mitts from like the 70s over here, and like all these old pads. I did that. Like the guy's like, "You're a co-op student. I don't give a fuck. I don't have time to deal with you. So you got co-op. Cool. Stand up front." So for like 2 months, like 3 days a week or 2 days a week, I stood up front. Stood in this mall, like in the basement of this mall with nothing going on, guarding what no one wanted to take because no one even wanted to buy it. Like they wouldn't even steal it.
Yeah.
It's probably the most annoying retail job that I had. I mean, I only ever had one retail job, and that was it. And then when I got to Lululemon, that was like my second retail job, really. And it wasn't supposed to be that way, and it became that way. Mm-hmm. But I've always said that retail jobs are kind of shit, but there's like, you can do well. Like if you, like especially through Worcester Bach, these big companies where you can move around and do things, and and you're like, it's a good schedule.
Yeah. So when I was at Billabong, like, if I was in the States, there's a ton of opportunity.
Sure, it always is. My LinkedIn's all about California.
Yeah, and it's like when I was at Billabong, I got to go to like California, and they flew me to Vegas to do like merchandising training, stay at one of their stores. So like, but like before I went to the like, that was the first time I've ever been to Vegas, and the only time, and like. That's when I had like this flare up where I was like super sick the night before. So like my first 2 days in Vegas where the weather was nice, I couldn't get anything down. And like my boss like, oh, yo, like come out, like we'll take you out for drinks. I'm like, I just need to go back to my hotel room. And then the nights I was feeling good, it was like fucking freezing. And like it was windy. I've never seen a tumbleweed before in my life.
I've never seen one either.
There's tumbleweeds ripping down the strip. And then my boss is like, don't like if you see those, like that will fucking hurt if that gets you.
Was there a gunfight anywhere, like cows or horses rolling by and even tied up the hitching post? No. Yeah, Clint Eastwood wasn't around anywhere.
No, man.
I've never been to Vegas. It scares me. Yeah. So you were mentioned earlier, like I know we jump onto this, but you were saying you were sick and stuff. So
yeah.
You mentioned earlier you have Crohn's, like Crohn's disease.
Crohn's disease and an immune deficiency. Immune deficiency, like I've known I've had my whole life.
Right. And so what is do you have overreactions to certain, like, is it allergy thing or is it like?
I don't. It's really hard to say. So like when I was a kid, I always had to go like sick kids hospital, just do blood tests. Normally with the type of immune deficiency I have, from what I know, right, and from what the doctors would tell me is that I would normally have to get like a booster shot of some sort and have to take different vitamins and they were like, you're fine, so we're gonna leave you the way you are. And so I have a really low hemoglobin count, and like all these other counts and stuff like that. I'd say I'm really below the average. Right. I think if like your average count hemoglobin is 7 or 8 point whatever, I could be really wrong in this. Don't quote me on it.
You can tell me anything.
And they were like, yeah, your count's at like a 1 or a 2, something like that, right? So you're insanely low, but they said you're fine, you don't get sick. So I've kind of grown up with that my whole life. And like it's never bothered me, but they just like they have it as like a little sheet that's from the doctor. It's like if I ever travel or immigrate somewhere, they can just say like will show up my blood work, but I'm fine.
Oh wow, okay,
yeah,
right.
Yeah. But
then you said you've recently in the past little while but with Crohn's disease since like, and how long has that been for?
Like a year and a half.
So it's super recent. Like it's like what I asked you before earlier. I was like, how do you can live? Like I guess because Crohn's develops over time. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but
so when I kind of got like semi-diagnosed, the doctor's like, Crohn's disease always develops when you're around, usually show signs and develop it when you're 28 years old.
that's specific,
so,
eh?
like,
Wow, no shit.
I was 28 and I was like,
Holy
all right,
shit, really?
Yeah, like you're right.
I wonder how much she's just like telling you that so you don't feel like out of weird.
Yeah,
but,
you never know, right? But like, I also didn't know what Crohn's disease was.
No, no.
Right? I was like, oh my God, I'm going to like prostate cancer and die now, right? And she's like,
dude.
I didn't know what it was, right?
Right, yeah.
But talking to the one doctor, a couple doctors, they both think that it all kind of stems from like my appendicitis that I had too.
Right.
So
did it burst or you just...
It ruptured.
Yeah, okay.
It infected everything.
So sepsis,
like,
the whole thing, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so like I was in the hospital, I think for 5 days.
Oh.
And like...
Not that bad, but...
Yeah, but normally when you have your appendix out, you're out the next day.
I'll tell you a story about that. Yeah,
yeah, so like they ripped me open, like I couldn't stand up straight.
Oh, God.
And it was like, I haven't felt like that.
But wait... Well, because you have sepsis, they have to get in there. They can't. They gotta. They gotta cut you, right?
Yeah,
they can't
like,
just do the liposcopic or whatever.
Yeah, I was at Zip Trek at the time, and the one guy, I was like, dude, like I don't feel well. And like I had a really bad fever the night before, but I had no pain down here at all.
Oh, really?
I felt like I pulled a muscle. It's all it felt like.
Right.
And I was like, I just pulled a muscle, just blowing it off. And then
I know what you're going through because I've been through it.
The next like day at Zip Trek, I was like
dying.
The guys were like, you're yellow.
You're dying.
Yeah, and like you need to go to the hospital. And like I don't remember going to the doctor, but from what they told me, I went to like the medical clinic, and then went to
the ambulance.
And then went to like the what's called the medical center on the corner, like the actual like emergency room.
Oh, so you went to like a clinic, like the
yeah.
Then you went to the actual hospital. In Whistler.
Yeah, I went like
dude,
clinic, then hospital.
This is beyond our
and then
pay grade.
And then they took me in an ambulance down to Squamish Hospital.
Sure.
And I remember waking up, and my older sister was there, and I was like,
"What the fuck?"
I don't remember anything, right? Because she was in Vancouver at the time.
Okay.
She came up, helped me out. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, all right, like.
It's
so like
bizarre.
I briefly kind of remember I was getting my appendix out, and
right.
I just remember I couldn't lift up, and they're like feeding me ice chips, and yeah, they were worried that I was going to get gangrene because of like how much it ruptured and how much it infected everything. But I'm telling you that to go relate to Crohn's disease. So because it's kind of down here, your appendix, that one doctor thinks that it's like his belief for your appendix is that it's like an overflow for your colon and stuff, right? So
it's like a garbage trap kind of.
Yeah. So he's like, yours is gone. So he's like, everything just sits in there or flushes through, and kind of makes sense because like stuff when I would have like peanut butter every day, and like it's like, cool, you're not supposed to feel like that after you eat breakfast, right? You're meant to feel energized and good. And I remember my one friend, she told me when she got diagnosed as like celiac, like she was like, I never knew what it was like to be full. And I was like, what the fuck
all the time.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? And then like a couple weeks after surgery, I was like, I know what you mean. Yeah. Like I know exactly what you mean. And so like to go on like how I got diagnosed with Crohn's, because I had like a inguinal hernia right here. Like I just had torn the muscle in my abdominal wall. Right. And it was right after my appendix surgery. So like I just moved too quickly.
You're about to go 3 for 3.
Yeah. Right. So it tore. So they like patched that up. So I was feeling a bit of pain around there, and then I was like, okay, what's going on here? And then like, it takes forever to get an ultrasound. It takes forever to get an MRI.
Unless you're like pretty much dying, they won't do it. Like
exactly, right? And then I got my results. She's like, hey, I think you have Crohn's disease, and then we're gonna schedule another appointment, and just took forever. And then I had like a colonoscopy, and he was like, hey, we gotta do a few more tests to figure this out. And then like a week later, my belly button was like looked like a zit. It was now an outie.
Opposite way.
Yeah, it was fucking scary, man.
Outies are weird anyway in general.
yeah. It was like red, swollen. I couldn't stand up straight. Yeah. And I didn't know at the time I was actually losing weight, right? And I left work at Billabong one night, and they were like, the one guy's like, you need to go to the hospital, man. You can't even stand up straight. Dude. And I get to the hospital, and like I think I'm gonna get served right away, and then turns out there was a bar fight somewhere, and like people are just getting wheeled in.
Yeah,
like,
Whistler.
Stitches. And I'm like, fuck. And like, so like we closed at like 8 that night. I got to the hospital with like 8:15. It was super quick, and then we didn't leave the hospital till 3 in the morning. Wow. Because it was like, and then I had to like call all my friends, and be like, I need a ride to Lionsgate in the morning, and no one picked up. And my older sister finally picked up and like saved the day again. Wow. And like was able to drive me to the hospital, pick me up from Squamish, drive me to the hospital in the morning, and then. waited all day. Then they were just like, yeah, so it's an umbilical hernia because they had to run more scans and stuff.
Yeah. So wait, umbilical hernia. So like it's behind your belly button. I guess like it's right behind there. I guess so. Then it just starts pushing away. Like
Exactly. Yeah. So
Right.
that's what they were like originally thought it was, and I didn't know it was like had to do with Crohn's or anything at the time. I was like, cool, it's just an umbilical hernia. Like I'll be out of the hospital that
So it's
day,
like a
right?
side effect
I was
then.
like, I'm good, right? And then they were like, no, like we think you might have gangrene in your intestines now. You might have to live with a colostomy bag the rest of your life. You might have to like, and they're telling me all this shitty things. And I'm like, I couldn't take it.
The
Like,
process must be a
I
scene.
broke down in the hospital. And I was like, I just fucking do what I have to do. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I'm done.
Take my legs if you have to.
But like,
Yeah.
then like at putting salt in the wound, like they drew the spot on me for the colostomy bag, and she's trying to show me this brochure, and I'm like, I'm like, just fucking leave, just leave, right?
Yeah, unless it's gonna happen, don't tell me that.
Yeah, right. And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
wow.
oh. And then like wheeling me into surgery, I'm like crying the whole time, and I'm like,
Yeah, for sure.
oh, so tough. And then I remember I came out of surgery, I woke up, and I'm like, I don't know if
No
I can
bag.
feel a bag, right? And then like I remember because I'm in post-op, and there's
Yeah.
tons of people in there. And I remember I'm such a fucking idiot. I like lifted up my thing. I was like,
Oh,
no bag, right? And I
A
was
little-
so stoked. And the nurse
Yeah.
is like comes over. She's like, you gotta be quiet. And I'm like, I was so happy,
Yeah.
right? And it's man, it was. And then like I was like, cool, I'm leaving the hospital next day. And then like the doctor sees me. He's like, no, you got some serious shit going on. Like,
Yeah.
like your intestines are like screwed right now. We need to throw the kitchen sink at you with medication, and then like clear out your system.
Because you're killing out disease. You got to like tons of
Yeah.
like penicillin, not penicillin, but whatever it is, you got to like get rid of it all.
Yeah.
Start fresh.
Yeah, they had to like clean me out, and then they had to start giving me different medication to see how my body reacted to it, see how the
Right.
Crohn's reacted to it.
Yeah.
And then they had to give me like, because Vanessa, like my partner, she stayed in the hospital that night, and like I was still like high and not thinking I'd go home the next day, right? And I see
Morphine's
her,
pretty good.
She's coming to see me, and I'm just like, right?
What's up?
And she's like crying that I'm like in a good mood now, and
Yeah.
like she slept on the floor beside me in the
That's
hospital. that
dedication,
night,
man.
and,
That's
like,
pretty good.
yeah, and then like, oh man, it was like she was so good then, helped me out so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they also had to give me this pill to see how it would work, where I was now contagious when I had this pill.
Contagious of what? What do you mean? Like,
So like, because my mom came to
you
visit
could
me.
give Crohn's to somebody?
No, something with the something that comes off your skin with your medication.
Okay,
so
right.
like, Vanessa wasn't even allowed to give me a hug or touch me.
Right.
Right, and like I had to share a room, and like,
What
no,
kind of pill? Sorry, what kind of pill are we
I don't know.
creating?
So
I
when
mean,
the-
I guess if it helps, it helps. But
So when the nurse came to deliver it to me, she had a hazmat suit on.
it's like nowadays.
And was like, she's like, open it up and you take it. I'm like, okay, sweet. I'm back to having a breakdown again. And
it
like,
must just murder your it must give you a parasite to kill whatever needs to kill inside you. So it's like
I don't know what it was, but I was just like, fuck, of course, right?
I didn't want to Google it because I'll just end up being
Yeah,
a weird
and then she's
rabbit
like, oh, and you can't use the bathroom. You got to use this little stool. And like my room was by the door, and I'm like, I'm not taking a shit. In the
hole. You ever had a
hallway, right?
catheter in? You ever had to have?
Yeah,
I think I've had that.
When
I was fucked up with my neck.
I didn't want to say it, but like, fuck, I don't care anymore. So when I was like, yeah, no bag, right? The nurse is like, be quiet. And I'm like, I don't care. And she's like, ripped it out.
Oh.
I was just like, I couldn't like. I
Man, you
was
ripped
in
my
so
wiener
much-
off there. You pulled
I
out.
was in so much pain. And
Dude.
I was like, oh man, it was,
The hospital, it's funny. They're like, some nurses are like, you know what? We get it, but we're seeing this every day. It's like when someone says the same retail joke to you, like, how's the story? Oh, well, how's the weather out there? You're like, yeah, but nurses must hear the same shit every day. They're like, you know what?
yeah.
We got to get this fucking, because they're like, it's not going to hurt you, and we can't sit here and talk about it all day.
Yeah, I just remember me saying like, I don't have a bag and stuff, and like I was probably being a cocky like
Yeah.
asshole like
You're
I
on
normally
drugs.
am,
Yeah.
right? And then like she's like, I'll shut him up, right?
Yeah.
But I totally know what you mean about nurses though. They
They don't have time to fuck around. They're nice,
Yeah.
but they're like, look, we can't. We've seen this a bunch. Like when
Yeah.
I was hurt, I remember I just walked out. I just walked out, and like I was so fucked up on drugs when I got my accident. When I had to get my face rebuilt, they were like, I had my gown on. It was beside me. I was walked out pretty much naked. Like, Ryan, you can't. I'm like, I don't care. Like my hair's covered in blood. I don't give a fuck. It's only 3 days. Like, get the fuck back.
So, oh man, with my gown, it was like Vanessa was helping me like put socks on in the bathroom, right? And the nurse was like, "Okay, if you can fart, that's progress."
Yeah, it's good, man.
Right? You're moving through, right? and you can't hold anything in. Vanessa's like helping me change, and like she's like, hey, she's like, I'm gonna put my socks on. She's like, I can't bend down because of like my massive scar.
Sure, yeah.
And like she's like pulling up my underwear, and I just blow ass right in her face.
Yeah, right.
All you hear is Kyle. I'm like, I can't do anything. She told me to try. Right?
Yeah, I'm in hospital.
Like,
sorry, yeah.
I felt so bad, but I was like, oh my god.
When you had your, I think you had the beer in a minute or so, but have you even had some of your beer?
Yeah.
You've been talking a lot. When I had my appendix out, so I booked a flight to Nicaragua on the 8th of November, like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then it was to fly on the 12th.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting like right behind the camera here. If anybody's watching, I'm sitting behind the camera. My roommate's over there. I'm like, man, I booked it. I'm like, cool, I'm going to Nicaragua in 4 days. He's like, yeah, cool. I'm like, I feel funny. He's like, yeah. I'm like, I got kind of a cramp. He's like, oh, yeah. 3 hours later, I'm on the floor. He's like, you go to the hospital. I'm like, oh. So I go to the hospital. They're like, dude, your appendix it hasn't burst yet, but it's about to burst.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. So then they give me tons of morphine, and they send me they did like a courtesy ambulance. It wasn't lights on, but it was like just me because like nobody would drive you in case it burst along the way. So I get to the hospital, and they're like, hey, we got to postpone your appendix because someone got shot in the chest. I'm like, yeah, fuck, give her. Like, I'm like, it's not funny, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm next, right? So then I didn't know what happens though, because it was like, mine was pretty good. So they did like a laparoscopic surgery where it's like all this little like pipes. It's not too invasive.
Yeah.
And they cover your like appendix. They cut apart. They fill it in a little balloon and pull it out in case it breaks on the way. Anyway, I'm like, should I go to Nicaragua? The doctor's like, nope. The nurse is like, you probably can. So I'm like, cool. Anyway, they fill your abdomen full of gas.
And yeah, they like inflate your stomach.
Yeah,
man.
You can't get it out because it's not like fart gas. It's like outside everything. So it's like it's got to just make its way out.
Yeah.
Well, that's super loud. And so I'm in the airport at LAX on painkillers in my fucking guts, and I'm like laying on the floor, like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, what am I doing? Security guard's like, you okay, sir? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. He goes, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I might have appendix. He goes, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm going to Nicaragua. He's like, he just walked away. Like, because like, yeah, you just, and you can't fart it out because it's not part of your fart system. Like, it's not in that.
Did you find it was really hard to eat after? Yeah, like you're like, oh, I'm so hungry. Have a couple bites of toast. I'm like, I can't eat.
I was in Nicaragua. I was super irritable. It got hot and sweaty. I was on a ferry trying to get this like remote island.
So, dude, like after my appendix like burst and like it was pretty bad, doctor's like, okay, don't do anything. I'm like, well, I'm supposed to go to Hong Kong for work,
right,
in like a week or two, and he was like, probably not the best idea. And then like I went and saw another doctor, and he's like, yeah, you'll be fine.
So I get all doctors pass pretty much the same test.
Yeah.
But how come someone's like, it's like you and I talking, right? You have different threshold of what's reasonable, risk, reward kind of thing, right? I'm like, yeah, I do that. You're like, nah, I wouldn't do that. So the doctor's like, yeah, hop on a plane, go to Hong Kong? So, sure.
I know what you mean. It was like 40 degrees Celsius the first day I get there. The most humid place on the planet.
What am I doing here?
And like, sure enough, that's where I got. I think my hernia got worse when I was there. So like, I had to leave early, right? And I was like, because I was working there, right? And I was like, fuck, I could go early. And
wait, what were you working with?
There's like an adventure company.
Oh,
no, there's an adventure company. So they take like school kids out. They're doing like sea kayaking, rock climbing, canoeing. And so
cool.
it was awesome, and I wish I could have stayed longer. And like, it was so cool. Like you got to see the city, and it's like you go 20 minutes outside the city, you're like in the jungle, and like it's
I bet, eh?
It's so cool, and like I wish I could have stayed longer. And like a lot of people think I left for like other reasons. Other people think I left because I missed home, and I'm like no, like I had like some serious issues going on. I can't stay. And everyone's like, oh, you could have surgery here. I'm like, why the fuck would I have surgery there?
I wonder what it's like there. I wonder if like their hospitals are like, if it's...
So the one hospital I went to was like real pimp. It was so nice.
I mean,
then the one hospital I went to was like, okay, this is what you would think like a stereotypical like Asian
like me doing the
hospital would
surgery
be, right?
next door, yeah, for sure,
right? And like no, like it wasn't like that. It was just like a million people, right? And like it's like cool. They make you wear a mask, and it's like no different now. But at the time, it's like okay, now I'm scared, right? And like it's
funny.
It's
how
like we're gonna bring in the interns, and they're gonna take a look too, and you're like fuck off, right?
Dude, interns. I went to the hospital once for some Whistler issues that I had, and I had to get dealt with. But they're like, they have like we have an intern here. She's gonna be part of the process. I'm like, this isn't gonna be good for anybody. I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, I get it, you gotta learn, but yeah, the intern thing's funny because they're like, you okay if they're here? I'm like, well, if I say no, what's gonna happen? Of course I'm okay. The intern's there. Save my ass, dude. Like, just keep me alive.
Oh, so when I had my hernia, like, like they like okay, like your testicle swells up, right? It's going ahead. So and like to get an ultrasound, they rub it all over your balls.
I've been there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and like okay, bringing the intern in, right? And she's like, okay, what am I doing? She's like, hey, like drop your pants, whatever. And she's like, she tells the intern, okay, now like grab his penis, pull it up. I'm like,
They make you fold it. They fold your wiener between the towel so you can't see it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm like, but it is a weird
It's
scene.
just awkward, man. I was like, oh.
You're like, I know you're saving me. I know you're probably going to catch a potential issue.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird, right?
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't have any pain down there. My pain's up here.
Yeah.
Like, no, we need to do this.
Well, I think hernia, your testicles rise and it's all part of it, right? Like it's like, yeah,
So
'cause
what
it's intestinal.
what they explained to me was like because of the abdominal wall torn, there's no fluid couldn't move.
Right.
So he's like, if you lie down, it goes away, but if you stand up, it gets worse.
Yeah.
So he's like, if you stand up, the fluid just sits down there. But if I were to lie down, I know my back would swell up. Then it would look like I have like a golf ball on my back and like.
That's like when you got to pee so bad your back hurts. You ever had that before?
Yeah.
You're like, it's
Yeah.
pushing against my back. Yeah. It's funny. Like I've been in the hospital a ton. I've been fucked up a bunch, but like when I was there for my appendix, they were like talking about how if you're like super thin and like it's easier to operate on and stuff, it's like less pressure and stuff. And they talk to you, like, they're talking through. And I've had experience where I've been talked through what's going on and what's happening with surgeries around that kind of stuff. And but I remember like being in the recovery room from my appendix, and I woke up. My roommate Adam was there to pick me up. I was fucked. I was like, I can remember just like things were all over the map. He's like, "Oh, you ready to go?" I'm like, "What time? How long has it been?" He's like, your surgery finished like an hour ago, maybe an hour and a half ago, and you're good to go." And I was like, "What?" And I just thought like, they don't like when I was hurt before, when I crashed and smashed my face and my neck and stuff. I was there for only like 5 days after surgery. Yeah. But like appendix, it was like, you're out. You're done.
Like it's routine, right?
Yeah. It's like we pull it out. You're out of there. It's zip, boom. You're good to go. Mm-hmm. And then I remember like, it was hard to eat. And like, I was in Nicaragua, but I was like, trying to drink a beer and stuff. And I was like on this fair, I was trying to eat, but I just couldn't. And it was so hot. I didn't even feel hungry, but I was just like pretty much starving because I wasn't hungry. But I think you have these like, I mean, I don't know how many times you've been in the hospital, but the hospital, people don't like them, but man, I'm all for it.
I'm the same way. Like it's, you don't want to go to the hospital, but like, if you're there, you're safe.
Yeah, at least as safe as you can be.
Yeah. So like,
sometimes things go wrong. Sure, someone gets a wrong needle, it gets fucked up. But like for the most part, I'm like, thank you for doing what you did to me.
So when I had my infusions for my Crohn's every 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And when COVID like happened, I was like, I don't want to fucking go to the hospital. I don't want to go to the hospital. Like I don't want to get caught. And Vanessa's like, no, like it's gonna be the safest place you can be. Yeah. Right. And like, sure, if I was there, I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Right?
Well, I went to the Whistler Clinic like a month ago because I got a bump on my shoulder that's growing. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. But it's like getting bigger and it's trying to affect my mobility. So I'm like, I don't want to go. I wasn't dealing with it for like, it's like that. You're like, I don't want to deal with it. So I let it go. And I went to the hospital like maybe 2 months ago now actually. And they're like, we can't see you till February. I didn't call because I'm like, oh, COVID's fucked things up. And I'm like, if I call, and they're like, no, you got to come in. So I go in and I was like, I felt good, but I was also like, man, they couldn't tell me what it was. Like, it looks like it's benign, but we took x-rays, you can't see much. We'll have to have somebody come and remove it. I'm like, well, I can feel it right now. It's right there. And they're like, I'm like, do you know what it is? Like, well, it looks like it's not a big issue, but you have to come back. We won't have a spot for you for like 2 months. Mm-hmm. I was like, holy shit. So, but then you have these like in your head, all you do now is just do this math, this dumb non-doctor math of like what's wrong. Yeah. When like I should have just gone there 4 months ago and done with it. Yeah. So it's like someone's making cookies to you. Yeah. So it smells like oven's hot, right? Yeah, right? Yeah. My oven's off. Fuck, this is burning. Dude, I had a roommate. Speaking of this shit, I had a roommate. My first roommate in Whistler, this girl, Katie. She still lives here. But anyway, I didn't really know her well. She moved out from Ontario. I never had a roommate. I didn't know how to find a roommate or how to like, check your references, that kind of stuff. So I'm way off topic here. But I was working for our church at the time, and I went away for like 10 days to go for trade show stuff in Salt Lake City. And I came back and it smelled like burnt popcorn here, but I couldn't figure out why, like really badly. And Kate's like, oh yeah, I burnt the popcorn. I left it in the microwave for too long. It's all good. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And I'm like, I used the microwave a couple days later. I'm like, why is the microwave like all like, it's been wiped out, but like there's a vent in the microwave. Mm-hmm. I see like it's all black. I'm like, why is it all black in there? That's really weird. And then I got my neighbors like, hey, it's the burn unit 302. What's up? I'm like, what do you mean burn unit? They're calling my apartment the burn unit. Because she had left popcorn in the microwave for half an hour and went and had a shower and forgot about it. So like the bag you have caught on fire. Fire truck came to the building, evacuated the building. I didn't know. No, she didn't tell me. She's like, I left in there for 3 minutes. I didn't know it was a full-on evacuation with a fucking fire in my balcony. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but because it smells like cookies in here, it smells really good. But yeah, anyway, so I got home I'm like, what the fuck? What you can't just say small little fire. Anyway, nothing's burning. It's not burnt toast. Remember that? You remember that commercial? It was a Canadian commercial. I guess a Canadian doctor had discovered some way to like figure out epilepsy in Canada, and they were like, "Doctor, I smell burnt toast." It's like,
I thought that was if you were having a stroke.
no, it's for
A seizure?
Seizure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like if you smell burnt toast, I don't know.
I kind of remember those commercials, right?
Yeah, it was like,
because I remember the stroke one where it's like, oh, if you see this, right, get to the hospital. Or like,
oh yeah, this one.
I
was
remember
like,
them like that though.
if
Yeah.
you're having a seizure, you I don't know if I smell burnt toast sometimes, but not them having a seizure. But yeah. Anyway, we're. I'm gonna get a beer. Do you want another beer?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
cool.
like grab one of those guys.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think it's going pretty good so far. There you go.
Thanks, Ryan.
I need this kind of stuff in there too. Probably cut it out, but you doing good so far? You all right?
Yeah, doing
sweet.
great.
Cool, sweet. And we're back. Yeah. We covered a bunch of stuff. I have like some random questions I ask. I always ask you about aliens. Not
All
always,
right.
but I try to, because I'm getting into them now. I'm kind of like listening. I'm like, I think there's like, I'm just curious what people's thoughts are on them. Like I watch a lot of Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
and I follow up with stuff, and I just follow like this guy Paul Stamets talks about psilocybins, and he talks about how they came from space sometimes, that kind of stuff, and like how all this stuff. But do you believe in that kind of stuff?
So I do, but
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I was fucking terrified of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like 8, 9, 10, right? I was like, oh my God, like they're going to come to kill us, right? But like I love alien movies, right? And like just fuel the fire for my mind that overreacts, right? But like now I 100% believe there's aliens, and I think the government like is hiding a ton of shit. And like, you know, I want to know more, right? And like, I wish I could follow stuff like you're following, right?
Well, like I just think it's funny because like I think like we always talk about like what's happening in North America, but like are there sightings in Japan? Are there sightings in Germany? Are there sightings in Venezuela? Are there sightings like there's got to be? We always talk about just what we've seen and what like what they call it, DARPA or something, or NORA. I don't know, whatever, not NORA, but like there's like, or Space Force, I guess now you can call it. But I mean, there's gotta be. I mean, if I'm here and you're here, well, fuck, there's something else here, I guess. And then I think of like different dimensions, all this weird stuff, and like I live alone, so I'm probably going weird, but like I think of this stuff a lot because I'm not a lot, but enough where I'm like, I read recently that this whole alien story that the idea of they've been announcing a lot of it recently, right? They've been saying, these so and so saw this, so and so that. And that people are like, well, it's a distraction because of what's happening on in politics. I'm like, whatever it is, even if this is all distraction, I think there's something going on.
Yeah.
And if whatever they know, they don't know because on one of the Rogan's podcasts, they were talking about how Bob, there's this documentary on Netflix, Bob something, but he was the guy at Area 51. And he's like,
tried to
he blew
expose
the whistle
everything.
on it. Yeah,
I watched that.
So he was saying that some of the spaceships they found, whatever, like UFOs they found, or whatever they call them now, something different.
It's a spaceship.
Yeah, it's from fucking space. So it's a spaceship. For us, it's from space.
Yeah.
But they found them in like as archaeological digs. Like they're old.
Yeah.
Like they found almost like when they talk about now, like the Sphinx and like the pyramids are older than what they thought because of rain. The way the weather has like worn away at them. Mm-hmm. It's a lot older than they thought they were. But he was saying that they found alien spaceships like as like underground archaeological digs. They've been there for a lot longer than even human civilization has been. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, well, of course they're testing. They're like the simulations here. Like, I don't know. I don't believe in it at all, but I'm just curious. Like, I don't know why I think they're not going to come to attack us. If they did, they would have attacked us already.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. Like,
they're probably like, look at these idiots. They're like, look at this scene down there. You're just fighting over some guy with orange hair and knowing like it's just like, fuck, and everybody grow up a little bit. Like,
no, I think the exact same way. I'm like, they would have fucking killed us already. If they could get here like that from another dimension or another galaxy, we are already way far behind, right? Yeah. And then like, if they have that technology to get here, they have the technology to destroy our planet.
And like, we talk about them so much in movies and everything else, like someone's experienced them. And I'm like, I mean, I'm sure they're not like some little green guy with big eyes and probably it's not what, if he's even anything, but like,
I fucking hope it is.
Hope it's something.
I know. I hope it's like, I hope when we do see the first alien, it is a stereotypical alien.
Yeah.
Or like, or something like out of Predator versus Alien, right?
Like the movie Alien, for example.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry. I get so excited about this because I was just like,
it is fucking interesting,
I want to
dude.
I want to see something that looks like that, or like an orc or something weird.
Like,
I don't want something not normal.
I don't want to die or get probed and be left in a ditch somewhere. Like, I don't know what happened there. I'll wake up and be like, oh, Men in Black kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, there's gotta be, dude. And like, I was talking to, who was I asking this the other day? Maybe Madison the last time on my podcast about like jumping dimensions.
Yeah.
And like, this is so silly. But like, there's someday someone's not going to be laughing about this because it's not going to be silly. It's going to be a serious thing. But like, they talk about like how like, as we're talking right now, there's something happening simultaneously beside us, or like 1 second ahead or 1 second past. Kyle Black's beside me in a different dimension. And I'm like, man, if aliens come, I'd be like, hey guys, can you help me get through dimensions? Because I would be like, hey, like, you guys are cool and all, it's fine. Don't kill me. If you're not gonna kill me, it's fine. But teach me how to go from dimension to dimension so I can see what's happening a second before and a second after. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
I don't care if you guys pull my brain out. I won't even know. So fine. But like, if you're gonna be here to help us, teach me how to go from the dimension to dimension. I don't even want travel time. Fuck time. I'll travel time. But it seems like it's a fucking rat's nest. I don't want to open traveling time, but dimensions, I want to check it out.
Yeah. So like I talked about this like not too long ago with someone about like I want to see what like if I had made this decision, I want to see what that's like, right? Or like, and someone's like, you gotta watch Rick and Morty, and I'm like, I fucking hate cartoons. Mine's Family Guy. I'm like, I fucking hate cartoon shows, right? I watched it. I'm like, every time I watch that show now, I'm like, I wonder what this like if I made this decision was doing now, and I'm like. I think now we're talking about this, right? And it's just like, oh man, I wonder if there's like an alien dimension, right? That where like humans coexist, and
there's got to be. So we thought people talk about how like The Simpsons and how other cartoon guys there. Gosh darn it, what's it called there?
American Dad.
Yeah, those dudes and do like and South Park and stuff.
Yeah,
how like all the predictions they've made of like politically and stuff. They said and like. That's not a coincidence.
No.
They either know something. So, like, if that's happening within our human realm, dude, somebody knows what's going on out there, right?
All I can think of is like
if the moon landing isn't real, which I don't know if it is or not.
I think it is.
Why haven't we gone back?
They have been back, haven't they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they've been a bunch of times. I think
to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's missions after where they like then they played golf on the moon and like
that's
then
the same mission.
Is it? Then they brought buggies up. I don't know. Look it up.
Either way. I think I hope they're real, but I hope they're not angry at us. And I want to be like, hey, like, what do you guys do for fun up there? Like, what do you guys like? How do you like? Because it could just be like, it could be a fucking orb that's like to show up and like, boom, like be whatever I want to be, and just show up. And now it's like you have like fucking Regis Philbin standing in front of you or something. Or like that.
We are their Truman Show. You know what I mean? Yeah,
dude. Exactly. Like, why wouldn't it be that, right?
Yeah.
Like those ideas for humans to come up with those ideas. I know that humans have the capacity to imagine most things in their lives, and like our brains are pretty incredible. But like, if you can imagine those things, was it put there by something else?
Yeah.
Or was it strictly imagination and just randomness?
Yeah.
That's something that's got me like. I think about that a lot. I'm like, if I have a dream or if I have an idea of like, hey, what about this? I'm like, the Truman Show. The idea of what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're our brains, like I said, are pretty strong. But is that just or is that like a thought that's been put into us by like alien ancestry?
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy. But like, I'm just curious people's thoughts of it because most people are like, I don't know. I don't ask everybody, but like, it's a weird topic because you can come across as like a crazy Luno.
Yeah, no, like I know I totally know what you mean, but like I think the same thing with like, like with comedians and songwriters and like people who can think of stuff like that and like deliver it, you know what I mean? And people that know the thought process to think of like, I'm gonna like someone like Bill Gates who does a lot, right? He does all this kind of shit. Like that's not normal.
Or Einstein, he figures out he figures out things that, so like is either our brains are incredible and no one knows how to tap into them, which I agree with.
Yeah.
They're very probably, I mean, I've heard studies how we use 10% of our brain.
Mm-hmm.
With the other 40% sitting in some other 90% sitting in some like other, it's still operating. We just can't connect with it. But if you can solve crazy shit. You can find out why an apple fell from a tree.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think that's the aliens question's funny because we live our lives daily. We just go ski and we hang out and do things. They must be like all this shit that we do came from someone's brain. And you're like, well, that was like, having a camera like an iPhone that's films right now, when people are chasing dinosaurs to eat it, how did we get there? You know, something's I don't know. It's probably people are gonna be like, you guys are idiots.
No,
But-
man. Like
Yeah.
No, I'm totally I totally agree with you. Like I'm just
Yeah.
like
I don't look into it much, but like I'm open to. I don't like to say that nothing's possible. Like things aren't possible.
yeah.
Like I just think it's like a weird. I don't know what I would do. Like I think if it was a happy, like there could be with us now. Like I think like Men in Black, right?
Yeah.
Like the dudes that morph into like this weird body and come out. They're all like that farmer guy. Who's
They're
like,
just hiding shit, right?
yeah, stuff's getting hidden for sure.
Yeah.
Because there's that Commander Fravern guy. Do you ever? So you said you were into podcasts a bit. Have you ever heard of Lex Friedman?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's been on Rogan a bunch. Guys like into AI and a bunch of stuff. And I think he works for Elon Musk. I think at Tesla. I think or
Okay.
used to. Maybe he's MIT now, but maybe I'm wrong. But he's on that thing too because I think he's influenced by Rogan a bunch. And he had Commander Fravern on who was like a fighter pilot who saw the Tic Tac, the original Tic Tac video. They were saying like the way it moved and the way it operated. I'm like, how is this? These people aren't crazy. Like they're not. I mean, if they are, maybe that's the only way you can see them is if you're crazy. Well, then something's there.
Yeah.
And so I think it's interesting how this is coming out now. Where they're like, because we're in the most turmoil. We're in my lifetime and yours too. Probably the most turmoil we've seen politically, everything else, right?
Yeah.
And to throw in the mix, we saw aliens. All of a sudden now they're like, oh yeah, we saw them. They're like mostly the U.S. government for sure, and military surveillance stuff like that. Like yeah, we saw them. I'm like well. Why are you bringing it up now?
So, like, I think, like, back to what you kind of mentioned earlier, like, you crazy enough to see him. I don't think you're crazy enough to see him. It's you telling your brain that you didn't just see something, that you actually saw something. That's what I think it is, right? Like
the power of the human brain.
What was it, like a year or 2 years ago, where there's that massive thing, like, in the sky, and it didn't look like a meteor, but something was coming down in the States.
Right, yeah.
And, like, they blew it off as, like, oh, this is happening. I'm like, that doesn't just fucking happen. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but, like, that is something, right? You know what I mean? They were like, "Oh no, it's not a meteor, it's this," and I'm like, "No, like it's not a comet." I'm like, "Fuck, it's something that is not natural." Right?
Yeah,
like,
for
it's
sure.
Like, and it's like I think it's cool. Like you didn't just say, "Oh, what did I just see?" No, like you did see it. You know what I mean? Like it's not normal to you, so you kind of.
So
you know what I mean? Like you say, like, okay, like, I'm not going to do this, right?
Yeah, you convince yourself it's not real. It's like when you convince like people like if you believe it, it's true, right? It's like George Costanza says like if you believe it, it's true.
Yeah.
So if you convince yourself it's true,
it's not a lie if you believe it.
yeah, right, so I got it wrong. But yeah, like I don't know. I think that shit's like I don't know. I like to ask because it's funny. Like it's a funny thing to talk about but it's gonna be fucking serious one day, right?
Oh yeah,
this isn't funny to joke at all. But yeah. Speaking of aliens, do you have any other hobbies you do? Like, what do you do on the side? Like I know you're not an alien hobbyist, but like, we do like other than snowboard and work. And
last year, like me and my buddies, like all got into golf.
Oh, cool!
Like big time, and like because I worked at the golf course like 11 years ago, and I don't know, like it was fun. I learned how to golf, and then like I didn't bring my clubs to Whistler.
Right.
I got my clubs shipped out like maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And played a ton of rounds one summer and then just didn't really play at all.
Yeah.
And then I sold my clubs to my buddy and I was just like, I got such bad FOMO and I was like, bought all new shit last year, got a good tax return, bought a pass.
Yeah.
And I was like, we got so into it, but it wasn't like the golf that like, I obviously enjoyed the golf, but like I enjoyed not talking about work. Yeah. And like getting outside, I was like, cool, we're doing something outside. Because we were not be able to like hang out with your friends. So I was like, cool, like I'm hanging out with my friends. We're safe, and we're not bitching about things. We're talking about other random stuff. We're
mental health is strong for sure.
And it was like I wanted that so much more. And like I bought a new club the other day. I had to drive Vanessa to the city, and I ended up like I need a new club. So I went to Golf Town and got a new club. And
sick. And
I'm just like, fuck. All my friends got drivers. I'm like, man, look, I'm so looking forward to getting a pass this year.
Yeah.
And and we were like, man, let's go book around in the city. And like,
yeah.
Oh man, like, so I've been doing that a lot, and been trying to like work out from home right now, and like I figured out how to finally put on weight and muscle for the first time in my life.
Right,
so
yeah, because Crohn's, you're saying it's hard, right? Like
it's really hard. Yeah, I didn't know like because your body with the Crohn's, you won't take on nutrients, right? So like I drink like the vegan protein shakes, and I wouldn't be where I am today with how healthy I am if it wasn't for Vanessa.
Right.
Okay, so Vanessa's really kicked me into gear, and I didn't know you could buy all these special powders for your smoothie, right? She bought them. It's like, hey, you need an antioxidant. You need like, so I have like a berry blast, a berry powder that's in there that helps like give me all my vitamin C. Then I have one that helps with my digestion in my stomach. I have one that helps line my stomach, one that helps line and digest my intestines and esophagus, and like, and then my vegan protein, and then I throw in a handful of berries and a banana, and then mix it all up. And
I gotta check my thing. Does fiber help you a bunch? Like, fiber bad for you?
So if I have something high in fiber, I feel like shit. Oh, really? Yeah. So, yeah. So like, if I have stuff that's high in fiber, I feel like shit. If I have I'm supposed to be on a low fiber diet. Yeah. And I'm supposed to be on a low fiber diet, and they said like anything high in fiber, you're not gonna feel like great. So like, back to what I said earlier, like I never knew what it was like to be full. So if I had like, I would like force myself to buy brown bread and like whole wheat bread, and I feel like crap. And I was like, as a treat, I'd buy a white bread, right? Yeah. And then doctor's like, no, you need to have white bread. I'm like, fuck yes, right? That's
pretty funny. You're like, so I don't want this shit. You're like,
but like, it's because it's easy to digest, right? Yeah. So like,
the bleach is probably good for you.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like I've cut out a lot of things. So like, the big thing with Crohn's is that what I've learned for myself, because everyone's different, right? Yeah. And, the big thing the nutritionist said to me was like, you just have to try foods. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't mean you're allergic to things and stuff like that. So like, I've eliminated nuts and seeds because I just don't feel good when I eat them. Yeah. Almond milk and stuff like that, that's all right. Yeah. But like, if I have like a bag of candy, I'm done. Oh, dude. It fucking crushes me.
Everyone should be done after that.
Yeah. Or like, if I have a couple beers and stuff, I'll be fine. But I can't have like a couple beers every night. If like after work sort of thing, like that'll just start crushing me after a while. Right.
What about like regular regular vodka?
Yeah.
Like
so like
alcohol.
If it's high sugar content, like if I have like rum and Coke,
trouble.
But if I have like a Diet Coke, even though it's got aspartame in it, like that just goes down so much easier, right? I don't have any.
But like a vodka water or something like that, you probably.
I think it's disgusting though. So I'd rather just have I'd rather have spiced rum or something like that. Yeah, but sure. I've like cut out peanut butter, and like I mentioned that earlier, and like I feel so shit with peanut butter. Caffeine's super bad for you as well, which I didn't know, right? So my dad, my whole life, I know he's just always ordered decaf. Yeah. And decaf coffee, so I've like switched to decaf coffees, and like sweet, I can still get that like. Oh, that nice warm taste, and then I'm like,
love coffee,
and then it's like, cool. I'm not gonna like shit my pants after, right? I'm gonna feel good, and I've cut out all dairy. Yeah, I've tried like the vegan cheese and stuff. I'd rather
doesn't taste good.
It's not. I'd rather just not have cheese.
Yeah, it's gonna be a dry cracker instead. Yeah.
So like, that's where I start. Okay, I got cut out cheese now, right? And then tomatoes are like my body cannot handle.
Fuck tomatoes anyway. They're gross.
Yeah. But that now eliminates pasta,
pizza.
God. So, dude, I haven't had pizza in like a year and a half.
I fucking love pizza.
Right? Man. Like living in the village, it's like cool. It's like 9:00. Grocery store's closed. I'm like, don't have any food at home, and it's like, I pass by Gnarly Roots, and I'm like, oh, I want pizza so bad.
It's a bummer that place is closed. But
yeah,
dude, pizza.
Vanessa works next door, and she was saying that the guy, his lease was like up when everything shut down, so he just kind of just took that break. I saw
something that says they're going to come back. I saw a sign.
It's a gelato bar I think they're going to put in there. That's when I walk by, it's the sign that's on there every day. But
gelato, nothing.
Yeah, like I've cut out all this stuff, and I've started taking different stuff. So Vanessa bought us like a juicer. Yeah. So celery juice is like the key to everything.
It's funny how life just changed you. Like I love celery juice now. You're like celery juice sounds like nobody wants celery juice.
It's fucking gross, but it honestly, because it's so when you juice it, you can get the vitamin C content out of it. So it says they say it has 400 times more like vitamin C than like an orange or grapefruit.
Isn't it super fibrous though? Because of the way it's like.
So as long as you juice it,
you don't actually eat it.
So if I eat like a celery stalk, my body actually struggles to digest it, and I don't feel good. Of course. But when I juice it, I'm like, holy fuck, I got energy. I'm ready to go.
Oh, no shit.
Like, so if you're like kind of feeling a little rusty in the morning, dude, have a celery juice, and you're like, we do an entire.
Really?
Yeah. So me and Vanessa do an entire stock. I'm not kidding, man. Me and Vanessa do an entire stock to ourselves.
Okay. Wow.
Right. And like she did a lot more research on it. I just knew it was good for me, but she did a lot more research on it, and the amount of people where they've gone on like a celery juice diet, and they've like like their symptoms have gone away from their serious diseases or illnesses that they've had.
Right.
And it's all because of celery juice. So if you have bad inflammation, like you start with celery juice, and then it gets away the inflammation. And
because like dairy, wheat, cheese, all these things give you inflammation. Like
exactly.
It's all
It's like
in your body.
I'm on technically like a low fiber diet, right? Beer, unfortunately, is high in fiber, but like as long as I have a couple, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What about meat?
Yeah. So like I try not to eat that much red meat.
Are you just because is it not good for you? You're more
so
like is it like a
it's like ground beef is really hard to digest. I find I feel I get super bloated and just feels like there's a rock in my stomach, and that's when I feel like that's when I get side effects and bad symptoms of Crohn's, right? So, it's like I'll have a nice steak every now and then, and that's kind of like my red meat, and then like we eat a little bit of chicken here and there, but like
is it the fat content or is it just the digestion?
Fat's fine. It's just the heaviness of the digestion. The meat. I think that's all it is, right? But yeah, like we've cut out like a few things. We try to add more. Like we try to do like purees and soups. We try to make homemade soups, right? So we did like one we had tonight was like sweet potato, broccoli, and lime and carrot.
Cool.
Right, and like that fills me up. And like we watched a few documentaries and like done a little bit more research. And like I didn't know this, but like you get more protein out of vegetables than you do meat.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I think it's just different proteins. Like you have a complete proteins with meat, whereas vegetables you got to eat more to round out that protein.
Yeah, your body will absorb it more, right? Yeah. So like this thing we watched on Netflix, I forget what it was called, but like this guy went on like a vegan diet for like 2 weeks just to track his energy levels. He was like a professional UFC fighter to track his energy levels.
Oh,
to track.
It's that one. Rogan had a big thing on it. He's had him and the guy they were like countering each other, and they were getting.
He did the rope test, and the longest that anyone's ever gone on the rope test was 10 minutes. And he just went on a vegan diet for a day and a half, and he did it for 20. And he's like, I just had back surgery.
Super strange.
And I was like, so like that's not inspired me, but I'm like, it's kind of kept me like I want to live an active lifestyle. I need to up my vegetable content. So I do eat a lot of vegetables, and we also do regular vegetable juices aside from celery juice. Yeah. So like we'll do like a carrot, lemon, ginger, and like a whole cucumber juice to like just myself, right? Yeah. And like just to try and up that content.
What about like fish and stuff? Like
we'll do lots of fish too.
Okay, cool.
Like fish goes down really well for me.
Raw and cooked or just
cooked?
Yeah. Raw as a scene. Or you don't like it in general or what?
No, like I do. Like I'll like when we go to sushi and stuff. Like I don't know. I just would rather not eat it raw.
Just because you don't want to, or because it fucks with your system.
I'm at that stage where I can't tell if the raw fish fucked with me because I was drinking when I did it.
Sake, sake must ruin you then.
Yeah. So like the last few times we've gone out for sushi, or like we went out for my friend Brad's birthday last year. Yeah. I was like, no, I'm just gonna get a Sapporo with dinner instead. I want no part of sake, and then like cool, it went down better, but I'm like, I also wasn't drunk that night, so I can't tell.
You know what happens, dude? Sushi Village, they put vodka in the sake margaritas.
As well as the sake?
They have to, because it says they put 2 shots of vodka in the sake margaritas. Sorry, I don't. That's what I heard. That seems to be the truth. But I heard that they put it in because, call me out if you want to. No one watches anything anyway, but like call me out. But like they put vodka in there.
Ask my friend Sam. He like bartends there.
You should, because I've heard that they put vodka in the sake marks. So like,
actually, ask Dee. Like she used to work there. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how many friends I had that worked at Sushi Village. Like, everybody there's it's almost like the Kevin Bacon, like 6 Degrees, where like if you work at Sushi Village, you know someone who's worked there.
Yeah.
Or if you know someone who's like, you can't get away from it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like when I left Showcase, everyone was like, "Oh, you're the guy who works Showcase," and like I sold a lot of shit, right? I get it, and like I had a different approach to a few things like boot fitting and some boards. I was like, "Oh, you're the guy who works Showcase. Help me out." Like, oh, it's like, what do you think of this? I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. I don't work there.
Yeah, there's some spots in town that just have that thing where people remember it. You know, it's like I think Sushi Village, probably maybe Showcase and Brandy's, you know, the bartenders there, like, you know, the guys there.
I feel like Tapley's used to be like that. Same with Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Amsterdam used to be like the watering hole, and like everyone that worked there also worked at Mojo's or worked at some other bar in town, but like their home base was like Brandy.
There was like a 7 years ago where everyone was in sync with something. Like the bars were going off and things were happening. And I remember Tapley's had this, I don't know who the guy was. I think he's somewhere new, but it was like, there was a time where I think he's an Aussie guy. I can't remember his name, but when he ran it, it was on fire. Mm-hmm. And obviously, times in our life too. Like I think Tapley's on fire 10 years ago because I was 10 years younger.
Yeah.
Tapley's could be on fire to somebody who's now the same age as I was then. It could be, Tapley's the shit.
Yeah.
But there are things that come and go. But yeah, those. What were we talking about? Just Sushi Village. Yeah, like I don't even fucking know half the time. But so do you not go to certain restaurants now because of that stuff? There's like something that's too
Yeah.
ready.
I want to go to Carumba so bad.
Right. Just
And
eat
like, so,
pasta
like
all
I
day.
helped out the owner, Mike, or whatever his name was. I helped him out a while ago at Billabong and like gave him some pro forms and like came in the store. I was like, I mean, you're good, dude. Like they didn't give a shit about discounting. So I was like, hey, it's 30% off. And like, I'm going to get moved today. It's 50% off a pair of shorts, right?
Yeah.
He's like, dude, come in. I got your meal comped. And like, I never took him up on it. And then when like I got diagnosed with Crohn's, I was like, all right, I can't ever go in there again.
Oh man.
But
that's tough.
I went to Pizza Antico. I went to just meet my friends actually this summer for like when things were a little lighter, and then to meet them for like a drink. And I was like, cool, it's just right across the street from my house.
Sure.
And then she's like, can I get you anything? I'm like, I kind of got some weird dietary restrictions. And she's like, we can do anything. So I got flatbread pizza with like a garlic sauce on the bottom.
Yeah, no
like a bunch of
tomatoes,
meat,
no cheese.
and then like no cheese. And like, I was like, I'm having time of my life right now.
Yeah.
I'm having pizza,
Yeah,
right?
it's in the shape of a pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was so stoked, but like, yeah, I can't go anywhere. I know
Right.
I can go everywhere, but like it's not that I'm allergic. It's just I don't want to suffer the
Deal
consequences.
with it after. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's or else I'm like I'll just feel sick, that like really sick the next day, and then it'll take my body like a day or two to recover. Right? It's like my bachelor party. I was like, it took me like I didn't get blackout drunk. I got pretty hammered one night, but like I couldn't get blackout drunk like at least 2 of the nights. I couldn't get over the top because I was like, if I do that, I'm done
For
like,
months.
Yeah, right. And then like, and the guys were cool. I said like my friends were organized. I just wanted to be kind of like a guys' weekend, and
Right.
yeah, and like it took me a while to recover from that. It was like,
Dude,
Yeah.
I've never been blackout drunk before until I worked at Lululemon. I've never, literally, man, like when I got the job for Elise, I've never been blacked out. I blacked out like 3 or 4 times there. I call it Dark Proctor. I never blacked out in my life until I worked there. And
Oh,
it's,
man.
there was one night because of kombucha and gin. You can't mix those two. No one on the planet Earth should mix kombucha and gin ever. I don't know. Well, dude, I think it's been like an hour and a half. I don't know. It's been fucking awesome talking.
really
to you.
good,
Yeah,
man.
it's been really
Yeah.
cool. I don't know, like stuff I'm talking about. I don't know anything else you want to cover. Something you want to get across? Like, do you need to like tell me anything or like? I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, I'm trying to keep it on an hour and 20, but I'll keep chatting, dude. For sure.
I'm keen
Yeah,
too,
for
man.
sure,
Yeah, it's been really good.
It's pretty good. I think when you're trying to find a place to eat in this town,
Yeah.
you've lived here for a long time. Like, Crohn's aside, like, say you could just eat whatever.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you decide where to eat in this town? Like,
So now I kind of, so if like,
Because you have
Honestly,
restrictions.
I'll go, even if I didn't have restrictions, now we kind of just like look at the menu and go, okay, like what, it's more of like, what do you feel like? Cause like we have the spots like, fuck, every time I go to Earl's, it's always good. You know what I mean?
Earl's,
Like,
dude, it's over underrated at the same time. Like,
yeah.
underrated by locals, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's too busy from people who are visiting town because they know Earl's.
Yeah.
But you just go in, you get what you know you're getting.
Yeah.
They always have like those like happy hours and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like happy hour, or like even when it was cheaper. I remember like me and my friend Tom, like when I wasn't working with him one summer, we made time like, cool, Wednesday's our day. We go to Earl's and it was like $2 sleeves, like happy hour. Like, that was our thing,
lit
right?
up,
And like,
yeah.
I don't know, but I pick a restaurant, like I don't really look at the beer menu because everyone in town is going to have semi-good beer. But it's like if we have a good night somewhere, we're like, okay, let's go back there next week, right?
Yeah.
And, like, as me and Vanessa, well, now we don't, but we used to be like, hey, like, let's try and go somewhere once a week, right? And
Yeah.
like, we used to love going to Three Below and the movie because we got the deal.
Yeah.
Food was never awesome, but like,
Three Below. It smells,
I would just be like,
hate
I was
that.
like, I'm just getting wings, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get
If
this
you don't
cra-
get deep fried food at Three Below, you shouldn't get food there.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gotta be deep fried.
And like, we like to go to Dublin Gate quite a bit though because
Yeah.
the food's always good there, beer's always good.
Yeah.
And like, I have tons of friends that work there too, so it's always nice just seeing people you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like when I pick a place, I'm always just like, okay, like A's are like, we'll look at the online menu first and then still can't fucking decide what I want to eat when I get there. But like, it's like cool. Like, is the atmosphere where I want to go?
That's where I'm at. I was
Right?
waiting
Yeah.
for you to say that. I'm like, for me, it's like, is there people there? I was like, is it going to be busy? I don't want to go
Yeah.
to a dead place. But I've been going to Pangea a bunch.
I've been
it's
there for
underrated.
breakfast a few times. It's been awesome, man.
It's
Yeah.
getting more popular because don't go there. Please don't go there.
Place fucking
Yeah,
sucks.
it sucks. But it's actually super good because it's not that busy. They have all the board games, and they're not there now because of our fucking like restrictions in town. But like, I've had so much fun there.
Did you ever like?
I had my 40th birthday there.
So
I got fucking lit up in that place. Drank way too much wine.
Years ago, when like I don't know, we went out and stuff like that. When you ever went to Crystal, did you like play any of the games that were there?
I stopped going to Crystal. Like honestly, man, like. Other than the open mic comedy night, I haven't been there in 10 years.
I love that place, man, because like even though the beer is shitty, the food is shitty. If I go with my friends, I know it's just the atmosphere is good.
Yeah, it's cool for sure.
Because like the beer's gonna be shit, so I'm gonna order the cheapest beer there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a shit beer guy. So wherever I go, I don't care what the beer's like. If they have a cheap beer, I'm down.
Yeah, like I don't know, like, I'm all over the place. I'm not most people. It's like, oh, I need this craft beer.
No, I want Coors
shit.
Lights, and I'll drink it till I fucking wake up in the morning.
Yeah, and so like oh fuck yeah, we were at Crystal. We were playing Jenga one night. I was like blackout drunk, right?
Yeah.
And like we saw the people write shit on the pieces, right?
Right.
So like my friend wrote something like disgusting about my sister and say text this number and say this, right? So for like 2 weeks I was getting messages like 4 times a day. I was like, oh fuck.
Wrote your phone number? That's pretty funny.
Yeah, and then like I did the same thing. I wrote his phone number on it and did something like, just say you have a venereal disease and your name's this, right?
That's pretty funny, man.
Like,
I can't imagine. That's pretty fucking good.
But like you get the text at like midnight.
Right. Someone's lit
right?
up, wasted.
Right. And I'm like, oh, who the fuck is this, right? And I remember I was a house advisor once for Mr. Blackcomb, so I would get all these random texts. I'd be like, oh shit, someone's gonna get let in. No, fuck this, right?
It's pretty funny, man, to have like that. It's almost like an inadvertent legacy where you're like, you might get a text 10 years from now where someone's got that piece. You're like, what? Like I played when Origin Design. They're like an agency, like a
I know they are.
So when I worked for Mr. Blackcomb, I used to see them a lot. We had a party there one night, and they had the giant Jenga. We wrote a bunch of stuff on them, like a bunch of dumb shit on the Jenga things. And I have one that says "Poke yourself in the eye." Mason Michon wrote it, and I have it in my room. I stole that piece from like a party like 10 years ago. And I went there I went there a few months ago with my buddy Mike, maybe a year ago. So they were having an alumni party.
Yeah.
And I was like, should I bring that piece? I'm like, no, because I want it back. So now I have this like I've been holding this piece hostage for like 12 years. Just like poke yourself in the eye. But yeah, I restaurants in town, like I just kind of, it's like there's only so many. You can only like, I'm like, I don't want to go there tonight. And you feel like you've been there before, but like so many places, they have their individual reason to go there.
Yeah.
It's like Sushi Village, cool. I go there because it's a good party and the sushi gets good, but like
exactly,
it's a specific role that I want, you know.
Yep.
And I won't go to Sushi Village with a group anymore. I can't handle the whole like payment roulette.
Oh my
Someone
god!
Gets dinged.
And
Someone gets dinged with like, why do I owe $80? I had these two things. And
it's
then
like
people
people don't get that like your tip is included, right? And it's just like, fuck.
I think Sushi Village over. Like, you know what? Now we're like, if you have a group this big, we order for you. You all pitch in. It's like so much better.
Yeah.
But I remember like, how many times?
Everyone's been through it if you've lived here, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. If it's like it's a rite of passage, you almost like you need to get like screwed over in Sushi Village at some point, and you spend $50 just because you were there.
Yeah.
You said yes to a Sushi Village dinner. You spent $50 more than you're supposed to spend.
It's like, I've only had this much of the sake margarita. It's like, fuck off.
And also, too, if you're going, just fucking pay it. Like, everyone just don't. If you're going to Sushi Village, just know what's going to happen and go along with it. Like,
yeah, people are going to remember you being shitty, not you having a good time with everyone.
$50
right?
to spend. Yeah, like, that $50 is social currency longer than it is fucking actual real currency.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think sushi in this sounds good. There's like, I mean, I've been in Japan a couple times and.
Oh, I really want to go to Japan so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have this like fascination with like, I really want to visit Asia. Like, I really want to go to, I want to go back to Hong Kong and get a little bit of redemption. But like Vanessa, for example, she actually grew up there.
Really?
Yeah. Like her dad was a pilot. So like she's a Kiwi, but she was like, she went and lived in like Hong Kong. And
I mean, for Kiwis, it's close. I mean, it makes sense you'd go.
12 hours.
Yeah.
12-hour flight. That's like the same from here, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I don't know what I'm talking about then.
It's all good.
I'll stop.
And then,
Turn my mic off.
like, I really want to, like, I want to do the thing that like everyone does, like go to Thailand, go see stuff like that, and Vietnam. But then, like, I also want to go to like Japan. I want to go see like, also want to go South Korea and check out like snowboarding there. I don't know.
Yeah.
For some reason, I have way more fascination with that. Like, I went to Europe like my second year here and like went around for a month and I was like, cool, it's awesome. I don't really want to go back.
It's cool, but it's not. It's just the cultural difference isn't that much difference.
No, but like I've been watching a lot of Below Deck Med. That's like, oh, it's fucking awesome TV show.
Is it on Netflix? What's it on Prime
it's on Amazon. Right. So like this camera crew follows around a crew on a super yacht, The
Oh,
fucking drama
sick.
is hilarious, and the guests are so like rich and snooty, and like
Just
but like no one knows how to fucking manage people. So like,
No one
but you
does.
also like you think of the people you've met in Whistler. Some people in Whistler, I don't know, like my first few seasons here, people worked their fucking ass off.
Yeah.
Right. Like workers were good workers here, and I
Yeah.
think it's definitely changed.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't worked for a Whistler
Yeah,
company for a long
there's
time.
still good workers, right? But they're not. The talent pool is not as good as it used to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair enough,
Okay.
man. Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, so like you see these people working on yachts, and you're like, it's like you're expected to work.
Yeah.
Like,
And people are gonna yell at you if you don't.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right? It's just like this is no different than what I went through my first season, right? And
Yeah.
like, a part of me like really wanted to go. Like, I want to go work on those like yachts and stuff like that, but I don't think it's ever gonna happen. But
I've heard with yacht. I've 3 friends that worked on yachts. Excuse me, some beer burps. And 2 say it's great. 1 says it's a fucking nightmare. And so I'm like, well, yeah. Like you hear especially now with everything going on, but like every time I think of a personal yacht, like if you're working for like a private yacht,
yeah,
it's pretty sick because you have a lot of free time when no one's around, but when they're around, it's like you're under this like magnifying glass the whole
Yeah.
time. I have a friend of mine, April Trigger. I've known her for a long time. I don't know her very well, but I knew her a long time ago. I haven't talked to her in a while,
yeah,
but she worked on yachts for a long time, and I met a bunch of people they've made bank doing it.
yeah. So like you'll see their tip, right? And they're like, oh, we only got a $10,000 tip. It's like you're still getting $1,000 a person. Like piss
That's a
off.
quarter.
Right?
That's a quarter of someone's income around here, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly,
at a
right?
good rate. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like, oh, we've been cranking through that, right? And it's like seeing them in like the Mediterranean and stuff. And you're like, oh, I'd want to go there, but like, that's going to cost a lot of fucking
Dude,
money.
the older I
right?
get, the
So-
more I want to check out of this whole fucking program and just go and do something like that. Like,
Yeah.
the longer I'm here, the more I get. I'm like, I just want to go. Like, I'll go and be a deckhand in the Mediterranean for a month and just fucking suck
Yeah.
it up. But it'd be so cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I might hate it, but I would love the fact that I hate it. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be kind of cool. But, dude,
I think if like you're used to working here, like you're used to busting your ass and like you live in a cool place, I think you would succeed there.
You know
Right,
what?
like-
You know where you can tell if someone's going to succeed in resort town. So so when I walk through town and someone asks me for directions, I'm like, yep, no problem. It's this way.
Yeah.
If you're like, get the fuck out of here, I don't want to talk to you, then that's like, if I'm willing to give a stranger directions, it's not my job.
Yeah.
I think I'll be okay working on a yacht, getting told what to do.
Totally.
But if I'm
Yeah.
like in town, I say I bang nails all day at a construction guy. Someone's like, hey man, you're local. How do I get to Black? She's like, get that out of here. You're like,
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not saying everyone's like that, but like if you're just a regular person, you're willing to be a bit of a tour guide for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Your ability to work on those things in those days, I think, is probably stronger. Like, better.
Yeah.
But-
So like 2 things about that. I'm a firm believer in like karma,
Yeah,
right? So
sure.
like if you treat someone like shit who's coming to your town, we're in a tourist town,
Yeah.
right? Like you have to be nice to people because they're the people who are essentially are paying your wage,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
I don't know. That's kind of what I believe. Like it's not that hard to say, hey, something's here, right? Because you do see that a lot, right?
Yeah.
But what I notice when I see like someone that really succeeds in this town is people that are like stoked on mountain biking, stoked
Sure.
on skiing or snowboarding. They're here to shred.
Yeah.
Right. Or they're here to really enjoy it. Those people that always succeed at work. And like the people that I've seen over the last 10 years that are like, oh, I'm snowboarding. It's the thing to do. Right. Or it's like cool. Like you fucking leave in 5 months. Then I forget about you for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Right. Like I see people pop up on my Facebook. I'm like, who the fuck is this person?
Yeah,
Right. And then I see like this person, like, I remember you from like 8 years ago. This guy was a
Yeah.
shredder. He wants to be here.
Dude, so working at Glacier Creek, speaking of this whole thing, working at Glacier Creek, I met this guy named Hiromi.
Yeah.
Hiromi Sato. Didn't really know him that well. And he worked at Glacier Creek. He was a cook there. Could barely speak English. But he's a friendly guy. And I was a manager there, whatever else. And so on Facebook, like 4 years ago, 2016, my first time in Japan, I'm like, hey, I'm going to Japan. Anybody got any advice? Hiromi's like, hey, Ryan. On Facebook, I'm like, oh, holy fuck, I know this guy, and I remember him, but not really well. But I knew he's super friendly. I knew he's a great guy.
Yeah.
So he's like in Japan. He lives in Tokyo. Dude, I've been there twice. Every time he's like, hey, let's meet up. I'll take you on a tour. He's gone around. He's bought me, because the hospitality there is like, if you go to visit a friend in Japan, you don't pay for a thing. And even if you try. If you
Really?
try, you offend them. So we went to this fucking place. I didn't know how much. I went to this, dude. I've seen this guy in like fucking 15 years, right? He's so fucking friendly, so nice, and so good to me. And I was in Tokyo. My brother and I went there, and then he went home early, so I stayed in Tokyo for a couple of days. Met up with my buddy Hiromi. He's like took me this, met me. We went with some friends of his. We went bowling. We did this cool stuff, and we took me for this restaurant. It was this restaurant was like 800-year-old ladies like in their outfits like serving you dinner.
Yeah.
Like and they're mixing your eggs for you. It's a Kobe beef. I didn't know. The dinner was like $1,200. I didn't know because I'm like he's like no. I'm like I'll pay. He's like no. He's like you can't. Their culture is like if you're visiting me, and I'm like we should adopt that. I think here we have a lot to learn with that. But dude, I love it there.
Yeah,
I would go to Tokyo for a week. Skiing's amazing. I've never been north. I've only been to Hakuba both times. I rented an RV both times. Just drove.
Yeah.
But it's fucking rad, dude. Just it's like it's a weird sense of like maybe it's me, but there's a weird sense of like just it's not nothing's really like just calm down. Like just calm down. Like no matter where you are, even in Tokyo, there's a million people right here, and it's like it's not an issue. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty cool place to be for sure. And I've been to Europe before where it's cool, but like, yeah, Japan, and I've never been. I'd love to go to like Taiwan or somewhere just to see what's different.
Yeah,
because Japan's so tech and like so like,
like
Tokyo is out of control.
Yeah,
like,
that was like I was only in Hong Kong for I think 7 weeks.
Only that's a long time.
I was supposed to be there for like 3.5 months.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah,
still, that'd be
that was
awesome
my, like
experience.
my work contract, right? So like I was on this island called Chun Chao, which is like, so it's an hour-long ferry ride, and it's like this gnarly old school Chinese style island. But then you go to the main island, and then it's like you can speak English to everyone.
Yeah,
because it's like it was technically a British colony, right? And it's like
you
can like go to a McDonald's, go get a burger, or you could go on Sundays, go see the Filipino ladies, and go get like this awesome meal. And like, oh man, like it was so cool to see all different parts of like that kind of culture, and like oh man, like I loved it. Like I want to go back so bad because of how different it was. And like there's one part you go by like the world's largest man-made reservoir. The water's crystal blue.
Oh, sick.
Right, and you go a certain amount outside the city, and like you get through the smog and you see the sun set into it, but you're in the clear air.
Wow.
Right? And I don't know, like I loved it. Like I know what you mean. Like you go from like this intense city, then you come out and it's just like you go to like the island I was on, and like everyone's just like it's just respect almost. You know what I mean? And everyone's just so chill. And I don't know. I that's like one thing I want to go to Tokyo and go to Japan about. Is because like when my perception of Japan is like it's respect, right? And it's like I don't know, like everyone follows the rules, right? And
dude, they have like when you're in the subway, there's a sign that says "Look up" because everyone's on their phone. It's like watch where you're going. It's like I don't know. I'm not an expert, and I've only traveled a few places, but I really do. I mean, I actually bought a flight to Japan, just hoping I could go in February. Just I bought it because I knew if I couldn't go, I just keep as a credit.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to go, but I mean, February's kind of late for skiing, but it's just cool, man. It's just like, you know, like they do things differently than we like. I mean, everything's wrapped in plastic, but they have incinerators. Like they have some amazing pastries in Japan. Like they're if you stop, like if you're on a road trip, like both times I've driven from Tokyo to Hakuba, so it's like a 6, 7 hour, 8 hour drive if you're going straight. But like their highway pit stops are like everything's there. There's like everything from a Starbucks to French fries in a vending machine to the best pastry you've eaten anywhere. Like outside of you can't even go to France to get this pastry. It's crazy. It's just and everything's wrapped in plastic. People eat breakfast they have like Lawson's, which is kind of like a 7-Eleven.
Yep.
And they have these things. We should bring them to Canada. It's called Coffee Boss, and like you can go like you know how like Red Bull has those little Red Bull fridges.
Yep.
So like in Japan, you go and they have like hot coffee fridges. So it's like cans of coffee, different kinds like lattes, straight black coffee, like tea, everything else. But it's in like a hot fridge.
Yeah.
It looks like a cold fridge, but dude, they would crush it here, I'm sure. But it's just I don't know. I guess because it's I think to me the fondness is of how different the culture is to here.
Yeah.
And like Europe is awesome, but in Tokyo, English isn't that easy. Like
no,
I mean I've been to Croatia. English is you're fucked.
Yeah, that was like
unless you're in the real tourist spots, you can't really get.
When I was in Berlin, like English was hard. Luckily, I was with someone that spoke German, and then it's like she got around for us. But like we were in Prague, we were fine. Yeah. Everywhere else, like Amsterdam, everyone speaks English in fucking Holland anyway.
Great, yeah, for sure.
Right?
Amsterdam's fucking awesome.
Man, and then like it was just like I was like cool. Like if I didn't have this chick, like I wouldn't have the experience that I did in Berlin, and that's why when I was in Europe, like Berlin was my favorite fucking place.
Yeah, we're lucky that people speak English because I know a bit of French and a bit of Spanish, but not enough to really get by. And I think we're lucky that most of the world in tourist spots speaks English for us. But like, dude, I've been to Croatia. I've been to Munich. Munich was pretty sick. Barcelona has this place in my heart that will never go away. I've been there a couple of times now. It's so good, man. But I think if you have the privilege, I guess, or like the money to travel, you need to.
Yeah,
to
you
learn,
definitely do.
And this place got me into that. I wasn't a traveler. I didn't know anything about traveling until I came to Whistler.
Same. Like I'm like the only place, like I said before, I wanted to go was just like New Zealand, right? And, and it's funny that like my fiance, like she's like a Kiwi. And like honestly, I'm probably most likely gonna end up there. But like I've never been to Oz, and like that's one place I want to go. Like I want to go check out the surfing. Like I want to go see the Bells Beach. Like
the places you've heard of over your life.
Yeah, like I want to. Like I really want to go there. But like now I'm like I'm definitely kind of refining my my travel itinerary for places that like for more of an experience now. Before I was like, oh, I just want to go see this to say I've been in that city. Now I'm like, I want to go do this, so I'm going to go here. Yeah. Like I know Russia's kind of a not a messed up country, but they're pretty political over there. Yeah, exactly, right? But like I want to go to Sochi. Yeah. Right? Like so a couple years ago I met Sage Kotzenberg, and I was telling him like, dude, like I just mad respect for him for snowboarding. And I was like, yo, like what was Sochi like? Like that place looks so gnarly. And he said something about like the mountains being really big, and I don't remember what he said, but like he told me like how good of a time he had just snowboarding. Yeah. Like the off day they had in the resort. I'm like, I want to go to Sochi and go snowboarding. Yeah. I want to do something like that because like I met these Russian guys and they were like, but they moved to Canada. This is when I was working in Billabong. They were like, yo, like mountains are big in Sochi, but like it's not that busy, and like we don't know where to go in the mountains. So like we moved to Whistler for the winter. We want to learn how to snowboard and
then go back.
Right? I'm like, fuck, that's sick, right? And like
Russia sounds pretty cool. When I worked for Arc'teryx, I met this guy named Sergey, and he was such
a Russian name.
Yeah, of course. He had I think he had a stripper for a girlfriend, fully tattooed. And he'd come over for our sales meetings, and he had to have like invites because it's the way it is over there. You had to have like certain reasons to travel and stuff. Yeah. But like, I'm not just saying this, but like there was like for the company I worked for at the time, they had to have like you had to put like undisclosed cash deals into the government in order to get your products in the country. So if you wanted to get like a storage container or like a shipping container full of product in that country, someone's getting paid off. Yeah, they have to be. But this guy was the fucking best dude I ever met. So friendly, like so good, like so rad. And when we were in Germany, he was there. We were there for trade show. He knew everything. He was just the friendliest. Like he was super cool. And then I was like, well, still Russia. Like it still kind of seems like there's something going on there. Yeah. But like I think we just judge by what we hear in media, but I'm sure the people are amazing, but this guy was the coolest dude. I don't know what he does now. He's probably, I don't know.
Yeah. All the Russians I've met have been awesome people.
Yeah, they're fucking sick.
But then me and Vanessa watched this documentary, like this docuseries on Netflix. This like, I don't know what he is, like reporter or whatever. His name's Reggie Yates. And he went to Russia to kind of expose, not expose, but like he just wanted to know why there's such a discrimination on like black people and why there's discrimination on like the homosexual community. Yeah. And it's like he like the documentary was like he thought he was gonna get like killed or hurt. Yeah. And then he found this like gay couple and he was just interviewing them, just asking questions. He went back to their home to see how they were, and they're like, we can't, like they had to like ask him to like not premiere this for a certain amount of time, and like they're worried that they would get killed. And I was like, what?
Well, the Olympics, the Olympics had to turn off all their like, they had to like stop all this like anti-gay propaganda.
Yeah, so I heard they kicked out one of the athletes. She was a skier, and she had the rainbow mittens or whatever, and they banned that on all Russian TV, and they told her to like leave and kicked her out of her whatever. Shit. That's what I heard, and like I don't know what's true though.
Remember the dudes, the guys who crashed that Hummer? Was that in Russia? They stole a Hummer. They got drunk. I think it was a Canadian ski coach or something like that. Got caught up in some kind of they got drunk and they stole a yellow Hummer and they crashed it, and then something happened. But yeah, I don't know. Well, funny thing is, my podcast, I was checking out the stats on where it listens. Yeah, there was 3 listens from Russia on the on like the last like 3 episodes ago, and I was like, oh, who's listening to Russia? But yeah, like I've heard the skiing there is legit. Like there's like
Yeah, the mountains are huge, man.
yeah, like Ace, Ace McKay Smith, like Foxy Moore, the DJ.
Yep.
So she did a multiplicity talk during the festival, like maybe 6 years ago.
Yep.
And she talks about this whole like they went on a heli ski trip in Russia, and they're using like old like military helicopters and how it crashed and shit, dude. They're loose over there, but they do cool shit because they're loose. Like they just pave over like flooded roads. They don't bother fixing. They just pave over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think traveling is like, I mean, it's just coming to Whistler made me travel, made me want to.
Yeah, I think it's a cool place and it's not home, right?
And you meet people from everywhere.
Exactly.
Like why are you here? Like, well, Canada sounds great. I'm like, yeah, but your country sounds great, so I want to go there.
Yeah.
But I think as far as destinations go, I think I want to go back to Japan again for sure. And I think I love Spain. I've been to France. I mean, I've been a lot of places, but I think I need to get redemption in Nicaragua from my appendix.
Yeah, I really want to go. Like, I'm shit at surfing, but I'd love to go to. I'd love to go to Central America and same thing and like just surf and
it's
have
warm weather, dude. You go for a month, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and like just like 3 weeks of just like trying every day. Like I'm getting better. Like if I rent a soft top, I can like stand up almost every time, right? But like I've got to the point now where like I need a board. When I'm standing up, I need to turn.
Yeah.
Right. So like I'm like. That's my notes, like working at Billabong. Before I started working at Billabong, I started to kind of follow surfing, figure out who the who's were.
Right.
And well, I'm not gonna lie, it was because of Frankie. Like the couple of shifts I did in Forley's, she always put surfing on.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fucking sick, right? Yeah. And then like and then I got the job at Billabong and I was like, I started to get into it, right? And then like I just started following WSL now, and then like I've really gotten into the brands but that like following that sport has really made me figure out my career though.
Right.
Like what I want to do. My end goal is to start my own store.
Yep. Cool.
I want to start like as much as I'd love to sell snowboards, that's
hard goods is tough, dude.
It's a niche. I can sell a shit out of it.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I don't want to sound cocky, but like I love it. I know I can do it.
Yeah.
But if I want to make money, I'm thinking reasonable here. It's like surf apparel, is like that's year round almost, in my opinion at least, right?
Accessories, that kind of stuff where margins are better.
Like t-shirts is year round. I learned it working in the Billabong store. Board shorts is actually year round.
So the guys at McCoos, they sell just accessories and they crush it.
Yeah. Right. So like it's I'd love to own my own surf skate sort of store.
New Zealand or something.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Like it'd be easy, it would be easier there. Like we do have a leg up just with like Vanessa's connection and properties and stuff down there. Won't really get into that, but
no worries.
But yeah, like I'd love to have a shop down there, right? And just like from what I've noticed in the surf towns I've gone to, like the only stores that crush it have good like customer service training, and like I just think the training and the work ethic that I was brought up in Whistler with is like that would absolutely crush it down there. And like
I think you're right, man. Like Steph and Frankie, they're like both into surfing big time, and between like New Zealand and Bali and stuff like that, and they're it's like then just watching their travels and their times in New Zealand, it just seems like a cool place.
Yeah, man,
and
it's really cool.
Yeah.
So like Vanessa's family's got we're supposed to get married is down there actually, but her family's got this beach house and it's like in the Coromandel, so like a big peninsula,
right?
Like a bunch of surf towns up and down, and like when I first got to New Zealand, we landed, we ate breakfast, and then we shot straight to there.
Yeah.
And I was like, this place is fucking sick.
I've never been. I would like to check it out for sure. My mom was supposed to go this year. She's going to rent a house for 2 months, and I was going to go visit her. So there for a month or so. But yeah, she's like, well, we're not going there.
Yeah, I've been a couple times now, and like I love it down there. Like it's the way like I don't know, like it sounds really silly to me, kind of mentioning why like I want to move there. Like obviously, I think like that's where like I want to start a family though. Like I'm not gonna be able to afford it here, in my opinion. I think down there would just be the right thing to do, but like the way of life down there, it's a little different. It's in a good way, right? Like it's very. I think things are a little more mellow there. Right? The country is super small.
The world's less like. Sorry to interrupt, but like it seems like the world affects that country less, and they're not caught up in what's happening. Like in here, whatever's happening in the U.S., we are caught up in it. Right?
Exactly,
and that's fucking chaos.
They don't give a shit. Not to say they don't give a shit down there, but like they're just like.
Doing our own thing.
Like we're doing our own thing, right? Like
you have to get here. You have to fly here. You can't just walk here. So you're at one point they're already a leg up. But if you want to come here, you have to make a point to come here.
Yeah, and like it's the small things too that like just kind of make that country better. And like it's the not laid back lifestyle, but and it's back to kind of what I said earlier, but like Japan, like it's that respect thing. And, you
Yeah.
know, like seeing the friendships that Vanessa has with her friends back home compared to my friends back home, like, yeah, we're always going to be buddies, but like the way they talk back home is different,
Dude,
man. Like,
I feel like Australians and New Zealanders have friendships that are just like out of control. And English people, like from the UK
Yeah.
somewhere, buddies are like, we did this, and you're like, you're willing, when I was traveling Nicaragua, all I met was like Aussies and English and Australians and New Zealanders, and they were just like all their mates just fucking sending it, and they're like all a group. It's like they
Yeah.
don't let no man's left behind.
yeah.
Everywhere else, like, I'm out. See ya. Like, it's like
Yeah.
it seems pretty strange, but
Yeah, like I don't know, like my friends I grew up with in Ontario, a bunch of them in Vancouver. Some come to Whistler, and I'm like, yo guys, like I lived here for like 10 years. Like, I'll take care of you. Like, come on, like I'll show you where to go. And like I don't want to like, oh, that sounds really stupid. I hate saying it, but like I don't want to pump my own tires. But like I can take us somewhere, and I'll
Sure,
get
you know what's going on,
I'll
yeah.
get discounted like beers, cheap food, and then they're like, oh no, we're gonna go to Longhorn and like pay $50 for fucking nachos. I'm like,
it's Longhorns, by the way.
Longhorn, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm like, guys, like, let me take you somewhere, right? And
Yeah.
like my friend's brother was here not too long ago, and I was like, yo, dude, like, I've lived here for a long time. He's like, holy shit, I totally forgot. And I'm like, yo, like, I'll show you like good place on the hill. And like, oh, we have all this snow, and he's like, no, I think I've got it now. And I'm like, well, fuck me, right? Like,
Yeah, screw me. I guess
I'm like,
I'll just
all right.
stand
I'm
back.
like, well, let me know if you need anything, man. Like, I'm
Yeah.
here, dude, right? And like, you know, like some people take me up on it, dude. Like, I'm gonna do what you said your friend did to you in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna show you why I love this place. I'm gonna show
Yeah.
you why I want to be here. And like, to kind of go off topic a little bit, like, I fucking hate it when all people do is bitch about Whistler. And like, if
Yeah.
you genuinely don't like it here, go home. Like,
I agree, dude. Like, I bitch once in a while, but mostly for the joke. But like, people are, I don't know. This is the general thing, but like, it's like, even now, I'm gonna say something controversial right now.
lay it on me.
But it's like everyone's like, if you're not from this town, get the fuck out of here. You're spreading this whole thing. And if you take this current situation out of this,
Yeah.
and I've worked for this resort town, and most of my time relied on tourism. So like I couldn't shit talk. I used to be the same. Like, fuck everybody. But I'm like, I get mad when it's busy. My only concern now is I just want it to be busy. I want these restrictions to make it just not busy. The whole other thing's going on, this whole disease, whatever. I'm not going to talk about my thoughts on this kind of stuff, but like, I just want less people on the mountain.
Yeah.
But there was 15 years of my life where if there was nobody on the mountain, I would get sent home early.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a job. So like, it's like everybody's got to fucking shut up.
Yeah.
But right now is a different. So right now is a different situation.
Yeah.
But like, the traffic's. I live south of town now. I've experienced traffic more than I have in the past.
So even like 6 years ago when I was at Showcase,
Yeah.
and I lived in Bay Shores.
Yeah.
If I worked. I finished,
You didn't drive to work.
no, I
did you?
didn't have a car at the time.
Right.
No, I would be done work at 4. And if it was busy, I'm just like, I'm fucking staying. Like, I have to stay till 6 or 7. That's
Sure,
the only way
yeah.
I'm getting home.
Yeah.
And if I got sent home, like when I was supposed to, at the right time, I was like, cool, I'm walking to Creekside and then getting Tim Hortons and then walking home.
Yeah.
Because it's faster than taking the fucking bus.
Wait, where were you working at the time?
I was working at Showcase at the time. So like,
right,
it would take over an hour to get to Bay Shores. Right?
Yeah,
And
right.
I'm like, fuck this. Like, it takes me 45 minutes just to walk there. So yeah.
It's fun because it used to be fun. I used to love, like, when I didn't have a car, I'm like, man, the bus stop's packed. It means it's a pow day. It's going to be sick. And I go up there, I'm like, yeah, it's cool. But then, like, yeah, like, I used to have a BMX. I would drive it all year round because I'm like, my BMX was my commuter. So I had
BMW?
no BMX, like a bike.
Oh, a bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Yeah.
was like, it said "fuck work" across the handlebars. That sticker said "fuck work," and I was like, my boss saw it and he's like, "That's a good sticker." I'm like, "Yeah, well, fuck work." But I remember just like being on the bus in the morning used to fucking get me so pumped. I don't know why.
Yeah, like
It used to be fucking rad. And now I'm like, 42. I'm on the bus. Gonna pick up my car because I was drunk last night or like whatever, right?
Yeah, like I only got a car in Whistler for the first time.
You got a nice ride now, dude. You got to fucking.
We just bought that.
Oh,
so
okay,
we
right.
bought my brother-in-law's car. We bought that in May when my older sister was moving to Seattle.
Right. I swear to God, it plays music while you're backing up. I don't know if you can tell me it doesn't, but it plays.
No, it makes
It
weird
plays some
noise.
kind of weird like. You can tell me it doesn't, but I will tell you it does only because I heard it.
When you walk
It sounds like some kind of classical music playing when your car backs
when
up.
I walk out, like follow me down. I'll put it in reverse for a little bit. like it's a really high pitched noise, but it's just because the car goes into electric
Oh,
mode.
it just sounds like
Yeah.
it sounds like some kind of like
Yeah.
soft like elevator music.
Yeah, with like this is the first time I even like bought in a new car.
Okay,
ever.
yeah.
First time ever, right?
Yeah,
and
sick.
Yeah, we got like the RAV4 or whatever. It's
Yeah.
sick. I love it.
Pretty dope. It's a good looking car for sure.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie. At first when we got it, I was like, fuck, that's like, oh,
it's a bad name, but the car is good.
It's like it's a lot of savings going into that car, and I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm like, and then I realized that, okay, like way more freedom. We actually needed it because like all my infusions are in Squamish and in the hospital there, so it's like instead of renting a car, it's like cool, we can do that, and like we put down enough money where it was like our payments are not much.
So you can't get any treatments up here for it all?
No, so infusion is just like an IV, and they won't do it up here, and they won't. The company that ships me my medication, they won't let a naturopath do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, but like the naturopath knows how to do it though.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
They can do it, right? Like the one guy
but it's not the same medical, like,
but
what do you call it, designation as a doctor.
Yeah, but like if like you can do like, so the one guy I saw a little bit as naturopath, he actually had the training to do it because he would actually give different IV injections and stuff like that, and he's like, yeah, I can administer your medication, but it's like it's a little bit of a long road to get to that. And I'm like, I don't even know if you're gonna be here long, so I'm just gonna not do it. I'm like, I'll just keep doing it in Squamish because we do end up making it a grocery store trip and shit like that.
Yeah, like I had Dr. Kaylee Dreger on here a while ago.
Yeah,
you know she is.
Saw one, yeah.
Yeah. So she was talking about she does IV treatments, that kind of stuff, and I'm like, I think I might get into that kind of stuff because like it's not because I need to treat anything, probably just, but like just to get it for health reasons, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've definitely looked into it, but like I was starting to see a naturopath right when shit hit the fan with my guts and stuff, and I was just like, I'm on a good path now. I figured out how to gain weight finally, and like my body's doing really well, and I'm like, I don't really need you right now. At the time, I needed you. Yeah. But like now I'm good. Maybe when I'm like, I'll reassess in 10 years, see how my body is, and then see a naturopath then, and yeah. So
my toques, sorry, more important than things to talk about right now. I feel like my hair was hanging out for a while ago.
Dude, fuck,
she said something, man.
Oh, dude, I'm the same way. My toque like does this all the time at work, and if like I'm busy, it just kind of like comes back and like look myself in the mirror. I'm like, I look like a fucking idiot because I have like a giant head, so like it.
Oh man, I got a bison head. I had I know I'm going from something serious, but like I had my favorite toque. A friend of mine bought it for me when I was hurt, and I've had it forever.
You lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw your thing that you posted. Yeah.
So I bought the exact same one. The other one was Volcom. I'm not a snowboard guy, so I ripped the tag off when I bought that. I got the last one, but this one's Decine, and I ripped the tag off it too. But I lost it, and I was like so fucking furious because I've had like 3 significant toques in my life.
Yep.
One of them sitting in my there right now, and I bought it. My first toque I bought here in Whistler. I got it in Ontario at Skis and Bikes, and I wore it here. It was like a black toque, went purple. It was an Orage toque, one of the OG Orage toques. And then I lost it, but I found it again. It's in like the archives in my storage room or in my closet. But this other black toque was the exact same as this, but I lost it like, I don't know, like a month ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I was so mad, dude.
I know exactly what you mean. I'm the same way with clothing.
I've tried on 20 toques since, and I walked into Source for Sports, and I'm like, you guys have 2 shoes? Yeah, we got a bunch of black toques. No one cares. Black toques over there. I'm like, cool. So I go over the chair. I'm like, this is perfect. This is what I wanted. Why is this not? Where was this 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked. Anyway, sorry.
I'm the same way. Yeah, like I'm the same with hats, right? So like this hat, like it fits me well. I try not to wear it too much because I don't want to wear it. No, because I got this in Huntington Beach in California, right? Yeah. And I was like, I'm like not losing this, right? Like, and then I got a few of those are like that, right? And like I'm also a very superstitious person as well. Like, if I wear a certain article of clothing and something really shitty happens to me, it's gone. It's going in the fucking garbage, right? But if like good things happen, I'm like, cool, I'm gonna wear this a little bit more. Yeah. So like if I'm having a good day at work, I'm like, what am I wearing today? Or, like, I'll wear it again. And like I don't know why, but I'm such a superstitious person. Like
I'm not superstitious, but I love having things at work. I don't attach some kind of like benefit or negative to it, but I'm like, if I don't find a new toque, I won't buy. If I don't find this toque again, I won't buy another toque until like it comes across. Like I've tried everything, and like I bought a pair of flip flops in Huntington Beach. Yeah, Sanuk, whatever, Sanuk. I bought them, and I was like, these are a good deal. And I hadn't had flip flops in years. I had a pair of these dumb Rasta ones, Reef ones back in the day. I still have these flip flops. I've worn them ever. They're about to fall apart. But I'm like, I've looked for new flip flops. I'll go barefoot till I find the pair I need. Like, it's fucking crazy how weird that kind of stuff is, eh?
Oh, dude, like I'm
I don't know if we got another.
slowly started to follow like a couple retail brands I'm like in love with right now.
Right.
And like I've told myself like more for like a money saving reason, but like I'm just like I'm so obsessed with brands. I've never had this before.
Right.
There's a couple brands right now. I'm like I need to like I want to only wear this shit, and it kind of weirds me out because I'm like I don't ever like I've never felt like this. I never felt like I've needed to wear something like that before, right? And I'm just like obsessed with them, right? And you said like Black Tukes. I'm like, cool. This company Rourke.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
they're crushing. Yeah, they're good.
I love their shit, man.
My friend
like,
my friend Mike does a bunch of work for them, like all their copywriting and stuff for them all the
Oh,
time.
really?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love their shit.
Yeah.
So like, but also I find like I'm in between that weird sizing, large and XL, right?
And then, yeah.
Tall enough that I need an XL, but I'm not wide enough for an XL.
Yeah.
But large fits me width, but then it's short and shit like that. But like, I love what the brand stands for.
Yeah.
I love their athletes. I love what they're doing. And like, my favorite skater growing up was Jamie Thomas, and he's like the chief, right? And he's like all sponsored by Rourke, decked out. And I'm like, cool. It's like another reason why I want their shit. And then like, I don't know. I've never been obsessed with a brand before, and it's tripping me out, right?
Like, dude. Sometimes things just hit you. Like, I've never had like a. I'm gonna take my camera again. But I'm more like. I'm not. It's like music for me. I like songs. I don't always like the whole band. Like, I'm like I like a brand. I like that. They make that awesome hoodie, but everything else is junk. I don't like.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, we're done. I don't know what I cut off. It must have just filled up my fucking data.
I think I heard your phone vibrating before.
Yeah, I think it shut off. Let's see what time it shut off at. We're recording. So I think we gotta end it. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's totally fine, man.
Okay, so I don't know what happened there, but we obviously ran out of fucking power or ran out of something. But we had a great conversation.
It was awesome,
we got to do this again for sure.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. It's one of the best podcasts I've had. I'm pumped on it. But Kyle Black, thanks for coming on my show, man.
Anytime,
it's great.
buddy. Yeah.
We had a great conversation. I don't know if anybody wants to catch you on Instagram. It's just Kyle.
Kyle James Black.
Kyle
Full
James.
name.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Stop by Showcase, say hello, buy something from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, this has been rad, for sure. Appreciate
Really
it.
good, man.
I'm glad we got to chat. I'm glad you were pumped on this. So we'll do it again sometime for sure. Round
Let
two.
some more shit go by and see what
Yeah.
stuff to talk about.
A few months? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, cool. Maybe we travel a bit, check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right, well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Ryan.
Yeah,
Appreciate
buddy,
it,
it's
man.
great.